Hello, welcome to the Fanfic Majesty. Report. 13%. Chapter 101. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Ninetales spoke arrogantly, and at the same time, countless tail beast guns in front of him quickly gathered. In the blink of an eye, there were waves of evil and terror in the sky gathering together. Marco was shocked, his wings shook, and his body jumped straight up. Ninetales, you did a good job. I will catch you Sea Kings tonight. Shin Luo nodded in satisfaction. After the test of the Phoenix Marco, Shin Luo finally understood the loyalty of Ninetales. If the most difficult one among Naruto belongs to, that is Ninetales, cunning, insidious, and it can be said to be synonymous with evil. But those who were summoned by the system were extremely respectful and loyal to Shin Luo. Even if you beat Ninetales, Ninetales will not resist. Thanks, Master. Although Ninetales doesn't know what Sea Kings is, it understands that this must be a reward from the owner. Suddenly, the originally arrogant Ninetales is now working harder. Dense tail beast cannons condensed in front of it. It's so cool. I can gather so many tail beast cannons at the same time. If I were still in that world, I would definitely smash Uchiha Madara into scum. Get out of him. Shin Luo stood with his hand behind him. Just now I asked the Ninetales monster to fight against the undead Marco, just to get a clear understanding of the ability of the Ninetales monster in the pirate world. Now, Shin Luo can probably guess the specific strength of the Ninetales monster. Not weaker than Whitebeard. Advertisement. Demon Fox God Fire. The Ninetales Demon Fox's long tail shrank, and then suddenly opened again, and a fiery light spread rapidly. Boom. The body of the Ninetales Demon Fox was covered with a fiery white flame. Boy, let you taste the great master of me, and make me turn back. The thing I hate the most in my life is a scum like you. Ninetales Demon Fox mouth, fangs flashing with cold light, the flame quickly followed the tail beast cannon to the sky, directly surrounding the Phoenix Marco. Boom. A sound of earth-shattering explosion suddenly came out, and then, the entire sky was rendered into a brilliant red. The white flame was like a sacred fire. Even in such a violent explosion, it still burned. Immediately, the white flame touched the skin of the Phoenix Marco and hit his mind. For a short while, Marco the Phoenix trembled, and he paused in the air. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The two figures collided violently, a circle of big explosions spread to the center, and the two flames swallowed each other. What kind of power is this? It shocks my soul and burns my consciousness. The Phoenix Marco was in a daze, and he was directly in the air, and was immediately engulfed by the intense flame. Killing the Phoenix Marco to death with strength, he can rely on Qingyan to rebirth from the ashes, and then Qingyan can only repair the physical damage, and what Shin Luo asked Ninetales to perform this time was an attack on the soul. As long as the soul is killed, Marco the Phoenix can be killed directly. In other words, the barrier of the former Phoenix Marco disappeared without a trace in front of Shin Luo. Damn it. There are even soul attacks. The Phoenix Marco's face became extremely ugly, and for the first time he felt a strong sense of crisis. Escape. Advertisement. In a flash, Marco the Phoenix made a major decision. The soul attacked, he was completely unable to parry, and the resurrected Qingyan could only repair the physical damage. It can be said that Shin Luo directly grasped the weakness of the Phoenix Marco. Damn. See you next time. My Phoenix Marco will definitely find his place. Marco sneered, then flapped his wings, ran away from the center of the flame, and flew towards the sky. Want to escape? Shin Luo raised his eyes lightly. Unexpectedly this Phoenix Marco had the desire to escape. You will run away before you fight. Are you trying to discredit Whitebeard? When did Whitebeard have such a rubbish son? Bah, isn't your kid just reliant on having a monster like Ninetales Demon Fox? What's so awkward? If there is no Ninetales Demon Fox, I will beat you into shit every minute. Phenomenal Marco flees while fleeing. Madly taunting Shin Luo. Master, let me kill him. He actually said I was a monster. Ninetales' eyes flashed with anger, and she stretched out her claws to release the tail beast cannon. Wait, let me fix him. Shin Luo chuckled and said, Marco, I will give you another chance to organize the language. What did you just say? Didn't you hear clearly? I said you are relying on a powerful monster like Ninetales Demon Fox. If you are the only one, I will kill you every minute. Marco the Phoenix clamored. Who gave you the courage? Courage. As the captain of the Whitebeard banner, you still need courage. Kid, I eat more salt than you have traveled. Phoenix rushed to the sky and looked down at Shin Luo directly with a sneer. At such a long distance, he believes that if the Ninetales Demon Fox moves, he can escape safely, so he said that this is his virtue, and it is because of this that he dares to stand in front of the Ninetales Demon Fox and mock. Is it? Advertisement. Shin Luo laughed instead of anger. He felt that the Phoenix Marco thought too simple, so simple that he provoked Shin Luo and didn't know his situation. The clothes I wear today are still red clouds and black robes, and the Phoenix Marco can be so presumptuous. This Whitebeard news must have been blocked to a certain extent. Otherwise, give this Phoenix Marco 10 courage, and he would not dare to provoke flowing clouds. Little devil, did I say it? What else can you do except relying on the Nine-Tails demon fox? Do you dare to single out with me? Rubbish, I will give you an arm. Phenomenal Marco saw that Shin Luo did not rush forward. It is even more presumptuous sarcasm. Whoosh. Suddenly, Shin Luo's figure disappeared directly in place, but rushed to the sky extremely fast, at a speed comparable to the speed of light. The Phoenix Marco just felt a flash of light, and then he saw Shin Luo's masked face suddenly enlarged in his pupils. What? This speed? Marco was shocked. Cold sweat came out of his back, a breath of death directly enveloped him. Damn. You are so strong. Marco's face changed wildly, his wings shook violently, and he quickly retreated to the rear. Escape. 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 Marco didn't even have the idea of resisting, he could only escape. Because of the person in front of him, he can't beat it. A violent breath of killing suddenly spurted from Shin Luo's body. At this moment, Shin Luo was like the world's killer, raising his right fist, and amidst the shock and panic of the Phoenix Marco, a punch penetrated Marco's body. Marco, I don't do it. It's not that I am weak, but, you are not worth it. With a punch, Marco spewed bright red blood, and the blue inflammation on his body quickly extinguished. In the end, there was only a blue inflammation that was as thin as a hairspring, which was still burning sharply and weakly. Chapter 102. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. One blow penetrated through the body of the Phoenix Marco. Marco's face was extremely ferocious, his body twitched sharply, and blood spurted wildly in his mouth. And the fist running through Marco's body was dripping with blood. The breeze blew, and the blood on the fist dripped down into the sky. Are you so strong? Marco whimpered in pain, and the blood in his throat kept rolling out. I didn't want to do it, you forced me. Shin Luo said indifferently. He was floating in the void, his entire arm passed through Marco's body, the scene was abnormally bloody. This is the god so strong. Yu Fear couldn't believe his eyes, one of Whitebeard's fierce generals, was so vulnerable in front of the god, Lu Yun. Tao Tu also looked surprised, and her beautiful eyes were full of shock. A punch pierced through the body of the Phoenix Marco, what a terrifying strength this had. Marco rolled over in pain, his whole spirit languished, his face extremely pale, and the blue inflammation on his body became dimmed. You killed me, you will regret. Father will avenge me, you must be, not your father's opponent. Kill you. Why should I kill you? Keep your breath. Wouldn't it be good for me to blackmail your father? Shin Luo smiled contemptuously. Kill Marco. Although it is simple, it has no value at all. What Shin Luo needs is for Whitebeard to take devil fruit to redeem him. Boom. Before Marco could speak, Shin Luo directly took out his fist. The severe pain caused Marco to faint. Advertisement. Seeing this, Shin Luo controlled Marco and landed on the island. God. You suppressed Marco. Salang, he is a fierce man under Whitebeard, you just suppressed it so simply. Is he dead? Yu Fear and Tao Tu asked me one word at a glance. He didn't die. It just left me with a breath, and it's not far from death. Shin Luo fell and stopped beside Nine-Tails. Hey, master, you are not authentic, I haven't blasted enough yet, you make me cool once. Nine-Tails mumbled dissatisfiedly, as if it was a bit uncomfortable because of Shin Luo's shot. There will be times when you will be blown up in the future. At that time, more than one person is better than Marco and it will make you cool. Shin Luo smiled lightly and calmed Nine-Tails. Then thank you master, I will definitely try my best to kill them. Nine-Tails Demon Fox grinned evilly. How is it? Not dead, right? Shin Luo moved his eyes to Yu Fear and asked. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. I didn't die. I took the medicine given by the gods. It's better. I feel I am more energetic than the previous 2 days. Seeing the goods, Shin Luo nodded lightly. Brum brum brum. Brum brum brum. At this moment, the phone worm on Marco, the Phoenix rang. Shin Luo took out and answered directly. Son, where is it? Did you get devil fruit back? There is also the kid who stole devil fruit. Have you caught it? There was a calm and steady voice on the other side of the phone. This person Shin Luo is familiar with, and is Whitebeard who was next to Roger. Advertisement. Whitebeard. Shin Luo asked, tilting his head. Huh, who are you? Where's my son Marco? Whitebeard was startled when he heard the words, and asked immediately. Your son Marco is about to be beaten to death by me. After speaking, the air suffocated suddenly, and the end of the phone fell silent, and then an arrogant laughter broke out. At this moment, Shin Luo heard countless ridicule laughs. Ha ha ha, little devil, do you know what you are talking about? My son, Marco, but someone who has the ability to eat the phoenix fruit of Zonyu demon species, even if you beat him into powder, he will be resurrected, you don't need to harvest hand, kill him. Whitebeard was extremely arrogant, completely ignoring Shin Luo's words, his son's abilities, he knew the best as a father. Was beaten to death. Extremely ridiculous. Whitebeard, I'll say it again, your son is about to be beaten to death by me, only a breath is left, because I am a soul attack. Shin Luo smiled lightly. What? Soul attack? Hearing this, Whitebeard's tone had unprecedented dignity, putting away the set of carelessness just now. What? Are you worried now? Boy, where are you? Return Marco to me, otherwise, you will provoke me, but you will have to pay the price. Whitebeard threatened. The price? Then I take the liberty to ask, is it costly to blast the world government into slag, or is it costly to beat your son? Bombarding the world government. Whitebeard frowned. He had no idea what the kid was talking about, because he hadn't received any news about Luyun. 0. Boy, no matter who you are, hurry up and let my son go, otherwise, I will let you understand that the fate of Whitebeard who provokes me is by no means weaker than provokes the world government. Really? Shin Luo laughed and said, Whitebeard, I advise you to put away your set. Your son is in my hand. You can trade in New World with 20 devil fruits. You don't have to come. However, at that time you have to buy the coffin and collect the body for your son. Boy, do you know who you are talking to? I, Whitebeard, has never been threatened. Whitebeard's beard trembled and his tone was strong. Advertisement. Have you never been threatened? You are very lucky. From today, there will be, Whitebeard, ready for devil fruit. Otherwise, I will tear up the ticket. Shin Luo finished speaking, and hung up on the phone worm. Shin Luo knows Whitebeard's character very well. This man loves his life. If Marco is caught by someone else, Whitebeard will definitely save Marco at all costs. After he rescues Marco, he will find Shin Luo desperately at all costs. Therefore, since it is offended, it is completely offended. Anyway, there are many devil fruits under Whitebeard. Blah blah blue. Blah blah blue. The phone worm rang again. Shin Luo ignored it, but glanced at Yufir. God. After being noticed, 3.4 Yufir was very grateful and put his hands in his arms and said piously, God, do you plan to let me worship you as a teacher? No, you haven't passed the test yet, and the first level is that you survived with my help. It stands to reason that you should be dead, but I don't want you to die. Yufir heard this and said excitedly, God, are you caring about me? No, I just don't want to owe someone else. In the second pass, in 3 years, becoming a big thief with a bounty of 500 million. This is a test for you. 3 years. Hearing that, Yufu's face was twisted into a ball, extremely bitter. Why? Can't you make it? No, I will definitely pass. Yufu's eyes flickered, earnestly. At the same time, the Whitebeard pirate group is taking action in New World. Chapter 103. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Yufu's eyes were fierce and hopeful, and Shin Luo stopped talking nonsense, and left the goods directly, with Taodu and Ninetails and left. In the air, Shin Luo controlled the repulsive force to make the 3 of them fly, which was very pleasant. And Marco, lying in the air, dripping with blood. Marco is the Phoenix Demon fruit power. Injured can be regenerated, but with strong recovery ability, there is also a limit. Shin Luo's Thunder Strike has quickly destroyed everything in Marco's body. Such a serious injury. It is completely beyond the limit of what the fruit can heal, and if the injury exceeds a certain level, it will also cause death. And Shin Luo warned Whitebeard that it was a soul attack, just wanting to convince this guy completely. But in essence, Shin Luo smashed Marco into this way with a punch. Blublu. Blublu. At this moment, the phone worm rang again. It rang again and again, which caused Shin Luo's great mood to disappear immediately. Hey, are you annoying? Shin Luo picked up the phone worm and was extremely speechless. Boy, how can I convince you? Whitebeard's voice soon came from the phone worm. 12 Don't believe it. Shin Luo frowned, extremely helpless. Damn, when is Whitebeard such a mother-in-law? Talking deeply. Where are you? I will give you something to convince you. Since Whitebeard had doubts, Shin Luo certainly thought of a solution. Advertisement. Boy, I hope you don't lie to me, otherwise, you will be endlessly chased by me, Whitebeard. Don't mother-in-law, just let go of the fart, labor and management don't have time to whistle with you. Boy, good, I'm on Pendersonrow Island. Okay, I will have someone give you a big gift right away. Shin Luo smirked and hung up the phone immediately. Master, is someone picking up the matter? Let's say okay first, you are not allowed to intervene, let me release it once. I'm so uncomfortable, I really want to release the tail beast cannon. Ninetails said frantically. When Shin Luo heard this, his eyes flashed golden light, and he smiled. Xiaoju, I really want to ask you for something. Seeing Shin Luo's ill-intentioned smiling face, Ninetails gritted her teeth and said evilly, what's the matter? I don't want to do it if it has nothing to do with fighting. Very well, this time is just what you want. Really? There are really people who have been beaten to find fault. Master, don't interfere. This time I will use the tail beast cannon to blast the incoming people into scum. Ninetales Demon Fox grinned, but this smile made people feel very sinister and cunning. Shin Luo walked to the Phoenix Marco. At this moment, his body was slowly repairing. He was hit by thunder, and he could cultivate to this level in a short period of time. I have to say that Phoenix Devil Fruit is tyrannical. The Phoenix Marco just awoke, and when he saw Shin Luo staring at him so maliciously, he broke into a cold sweat. You, what are you doing? Don't come over. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Marco, your father doesn't believe that I can catch you. In order to make your father believe, of course I have to bring out things he is familiar with. Shin Luo sneered again and again, which made Marco feel extremely dangerous. You, what are you doing? Marco's pupils were full of fear. Shin Luo didn't talk nonsense at all. He lifted his right hand and slammed a punch to Marco's right arm. Crack. A bloody arm was torn apart in this way, and it broke directly. What? Advertisement. Marco felt the intense pain, and his whole body was lying in the air constantly twitching. After breaking off Marco's arm, Shin Luo threw the broken arm directly to Ninetales. Ninetales, I will take you to an island, throw this arm to a boy of Whitebeard, and let him deliver 20 devil fruits first. If they don't give it or want to catch you, you don't have to be restrained, you want to release the tail beast. How to release the cannon? Shin Luo sneered. Yes, master, but what does devil fruit look like? And what does Whitebeard look like? Upon hearing this, Shin Luo directly took out a few photos. Above are the photos of devil fruit and Whitebeard. Shin Luo came to this world and collected a lot of photos of strong people. Now, it comes in handy. After Ninetales understood everything, under the control of Shin Luo, he went to an island close to Penderson Island, and Shin Luo threw Ninetales into the sea. After that, Ninetales took the arm Shin Luo gave him and ran quickly across the sea. Ninetales Demon Fox, in the pirate world, is completely a bug. It is not afraid of the sea, or even the deep sea. As long as it has chakra, it can run wild on the sea without even falling into the water. It is as simple as Kuzan riding a bike on the sea. Not long. The Ninetales Demon Fox ran directly to the island of Pendersonrow. I saw countless boats docked around the island, and those boats were full of pirates, and the flags were the signs of the Whitebeard pirates. Hello. Look. What's that on the sea? FK. Someone is running wildly at sea. Am I right? Am I drunk? There can be people running at sea. Those with the ability are not afraid of the sea. Are you kidding? That's not a human. It's a fox. Fox. Such a big fox. Upgraded. Right. Must have eaten devil fruit. Go and tell daddy. I found an unknown creature approaching. The pirates on the pirate boat on the edge of the island were all panicked. Due to the rapid approach of Ninetales, an evil atmosphere instantly enveloped the sea and the island. Ninetales ran swiftly, blowing wind under their feet, and countless waves splashing up, forming a white stripe. Advertisement. Boy, get out. Ninetales saw the ship in front of him extremely unhappy. A mouth, a huge tail beast cannon is condensed into shape. Woo. The tail beast cannon rushed out, setting off a shocking wave, and directly blasted on a ship. Boom. Suddenly, the tail beast artillery exploded, and the terrifying energy swept away in an instant. Countless pirates were vomited and fainted by the shock, and they were even directly killed. A ship was directly bombarded by Ninetales' tail beasts into a smash. Ninetales did not hesitate, leapt forward and jumped directly into the air. The Ninetales stretched out to cover the sky and the sun. Boom. On the island, Ninetales is faster, and in the blink of an eye, it has already rushed to the mobile. Under everyone's surprised eyes, Ninetales jumped and stood on the boat. The huge body obscured the sky, jumped up, and directly smashed the deck, causing the entire ship to shake violently. In front of the Ninetales Demon Fox, there is a man sitting, wearing a cloak and holding a long sword. His face has a crescent-shaped white mustache. You are Whitebeard. As soon as Ninetales came up, he questioned Whitebeard. And Whitebeard also looked at the monster in front of him curiously. Are you the one sent by the kid? Whitebeard asked with cold eyes. Boom. Ninetales Demon Fox didn't talk nonsense, and directly threw the bloody arm that Shin Luo gave him to Whitebeard. This is what the master asked me to give you. Give me 20 devil fruit quickly. If you don't give it, Lousy will blast through your broken place. Chapter 104. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Ninetales Demon Fox is unruly, without a master by his side, its nature is completely exposed, arrogant, domineering, and unscrupulous. Dare to threaten Dad. Dad, catch him. Redeem Marco. Yeah, father. The Whitebeard pirates have ever been threatened. Catch him and rescue Marco. In the Whitebeard pirate group, many cadres gritted their teeth and stared at them, and they were about to fight if they didn't agree. Stupid. The Nine-Tails Demon Fox looked at the clowns in front of him, couldn't help grinning, slyly. Whoever wants to die, come here, lousy, I will let you taste the tail cannon. Shut up all to me. Whitebeard sat up boldly, interrupting everyone, looking at his arms on the ground. Marco. At a glance, Whitebeard recognized who the broken arm was. How is Marco? Whitebeard asked Nine-Tails with some anger on his face. That kid is not far from death, and his master punched Shang to lie down. If you don't redeem him, you may be dead. Nine-Tails Demon Fox said according to Qin Luo's instructions. Whitebeard, I advise you, hurry up and take out 20 devil fruits, otherwise the owner will tear up the ticket immediately. By the way, I will tell you that these 20 devil fruits are only half of the payment, and I want to bring Marco back safe and sound. Then hand over 40 devil fruit. Goo la 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 la. You asked me to hand over 40 devil fruits. Is your master sitting on the floor and raising the price? When I am Whitebeard, a powerful white sword aura rose up into the sky, swept away into the void, directly cutting the cloud into 2 pieces. Deterrence. Provocation. Nine-Tails sneered in his heart as he witnessed everything, and then an oversized tail beast cannon sprang out in front of him. The countless members of the Whitebeard pirate group were stunned and shocked. Advertisement. What kind of power is this? So evil. How come I have never felt this kind of energy? In the eyes of everyone, Nine-Tails condensed the tail beast cannon into shape and shot it towards the sky. Boom. The tail beast cannon rushed into the clouds instantly, a violent explosion resounded through the sky and the earth, and the black cloud that had been cut in two by Whitebeard instantly dissipated. Above the sky, a piece of scarlet. Whitebeard looked up at the sky, showing a solemn look. Nine-Tails Demon Fox, he is not afraid, but this is in his Whitebeard territory. If this Nine-Tails Demon Fox goes crazy, attacks indiscriminately, and comes with more tail beast cannons, then does his Whitebeard pirate group need it? At that time, I am afraid that there will be heavy casualties. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. For Whitebeard who loves his people like a child, this must not happen. Take the phone worm. Whitebeard looked gloomy, obviously stunned by Nine-Tails tail beast cannon. Blublu. Blublu. Soon, the Qin Luo phone worm in the sky rang. Hey, Whitebeard, did you get a broken arm? Qin Luo asked leisurely. Boy, dare to threaten Whitebeard, you are the first person. Whitebeard gritted his teeth and said, how is Marco? He can't die temporarily. Advertisement. Let him answer the phone. Whitebeard was worried about Marco. It is good. Qin Luo nodded and directly placed the phone worm next to Marco, who was recovering. Daddy. As soon as the phone worm arrived, Marco screamed miserably. Father, don't come. I have discredited the Whitebeard pirates. I am damned. Daddy, I am not worth 40 devil fruit in exchange. 40 devil fruits, Dad can build an army stronger than me. Marco screamed with exhaustion, trying to stop Whitebeard. Marco, stay there. Dad will definitely save you. Father, don't save me. I don't deserve my father to save me. Let me fend for myself. Marco burst into tears, choked and cried. Stupid son, how could father abandon you? Whitebeard comforted. When Marco heard this, he couldn't cry. Daddy. Qin Luo couldn't help but feel a little moved when he watched all this. If he said why this world is loved by people, it would be passionate. Whitebeard loves the people like a child, but he carries it through from beginning to end to death. He doesn't want treasures, nor does he want to fight for one piece. He just wants to have a home, a simple family. Marco did this, not only could not stop Whitebeard, but it was counterproductive. Father, don't come. Shut up. Qin Luo kicked towards Marco's Hungarian lying down, and Marco, who kicked directly with amazing force, rolled inwardly, blood rushing. Damn, it's so sensational. Advertisement. When Whitebeard heard the miserable howling of the phone worm Nemark, he immediately became angry and said, Boy, I will give you 40 devil fruits, but you can't abuse my son. Before I see him, you must promise not to touch him again. Okay. With devil fruit, everything is easy to say, you can hand over 40 devil fruit to my pet. Qin Luo smiled, and sure enough, Whitebeard said to his son. Boy, 40 won't work. I have to see Marco in person. I will give you 20 first. After a few days, we will meet each other and deliver the goods with one hand. Deal. Qin Luo nodded and agreed. Whitebeard is not stupid yet, worried about being deceived by Qin Luo. Okay, kid, you wait for me. Relax, Whitebeard, before you give me devil fruit, I will definitely wait for you, but by the way, I am not a kid, my name Isluyun. It doesn't matter what the clouds are floating, anyway, if you provoke Whitebeard, you have to think about it. Do. Qin Luo didn't bother to listen to Whitebeard's babble, so he hung up the phone. And on an island in the distance, on the surface of the new world, on the deck of the Moby Dick that resembled a beluga whale, the officers and all members of the Whitebeard pirate group were in a daze. Hung up the phone call from Daddy. When the phone was hung up, Whitebeard threw the phone bug aside and said to Joes, "Go to the warehouse and get 20 devil fruits. Give this 9 tails first. Daddy, really want to get it. 20. Joes looked dull. When did Daddy compromise so easily? Go get it. Whitebeard rubbed his head and spoke coldly. Yes, old man. After hearing his father's order, Joes hurried into the warehouse and went to drag the boxes of devil fruit. Chapter 105. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Soon, Joes walked out carrying a big box and threw it in front of the 9-tails demon fox. Joes raised his head and sneered. Fox, these are 20 devil fruits. I hope your master will take it, but it's useless. Nonsense. 9-tails demon fox smiled evilly, and the paws covered with a large amount of chakra patted down. Boom. One arm of Joes turned into a diamond, and he bumped into the 9-tails demon fox with a fist. The evil aura immediately enveloped the entire ship and continued to spread out. Boom. In front of 9-tails demon fox, Joes is not as big as 9-tails slap. In one shot, Jaws's whole body penetrated the deck and was shot into the wood. Little devil, don't mess with me, otherwise, it won't be good to kill you. 9-tails demon fox bared its fangs and smiled slyly. After speaking, 9-tails placed his gaze on the box and opened the box, revealing 20 densely threaded fruits. Similar to the shape in the photo. Seeing the fruit, 9-tails demon fox grabbed it with one paw. 9-tails demon fox, tell your host, my Whitebeard's things are not so easy to pick up, let him wait. Whitebeard's face was full of anger, and he felt aggrieved. Advertisement. Why? Want to fight? 9-tails demon fox leaned down and stared at Whitebeard. If you want to fight, I'll accompany you. If you let my master take action, you won't be able to stop it. Too arrogant. I can't stand it anymore. Daddy, let me kill him. Diamond Joes kicked off the deck and got out of the hole directly, standing in front of 9-tails with a pale face. It's too embarrassing to be slapped in by someone else. Father, 40 devil fruits, how is this different from robbery? One of the pirates was extremely dissatisfied. Although the Whitebeard pirate group was strong, these 40 devil fruits were enough to hollow out their background. What is the ability to threaten Dad? We, the Whitebeard pirates, do not have a scam, and we have the ability to fight head on, but what is the ability to conspiracy against the dark guys? A Whitebeard pirates team leader exclaimed angrily. Father, catch 9-tails. As a hostage exchange. I don't believe in what Luyans dare to change. Yeah, Daddy, we are the strongest of the Whitebeard pirate group, how can a mere 9-tails escape our palms? Whitebeard wanted to speak, but Diamond Joes rushed towards him with a gloomy expression, fisting. Joes is burly, muscular, open-hearted, and dark-skinned. He is huge, but he is not enough to look at him in front of 9-tails. The face that had originally maintained an angry look is even more gloomy at the moment. As he kept getting closer, Jaws's right arm turned into diamonds, and the gleaming diamond arm slammed into 9-tails' eyes quickly. Hey, kid, read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The 9-tails demon snorted, the 9-tails behind him flipped quickly, and their spirituality was soaring in the wind, like a rope tied to an immortal, blocking him in front of him, and they continued to encircle Joes. Humph. Diamond Joes snorted coldly, his upper body was covered with diamonds, and he slammed it down. Boom. The mighty and powerful fist hit the tail, as if hitting a cotton candy, without power. Seeing this, 9-tails chuckled his lips. Little devil, haven't you been breastfeeding? So much energy. Damn it. Advertisement. Once provoked, Diamond Joes suddenly lost his mind, and another diamond punch came. 9-tails also rarely stretched out its claws and bumped into Diamond Joes. The moment the two collided, the surrounding space trembled suddenly, a devastating shock wave swept out, and the deck split every inch, spreading to hundreds of meters. Wherever they went, there was a mess. So strong. Diamond Joes backed tens of meters away, and the diamond arm burst into pieces under a single blow. Then, Lualu took out his original arm. At this moment, his arm twitched slightly, and his heart was shocked to the extreme. Strong. Is it just strong? 9-tails smiled contemptuously, and after a paw, 9-tails swept over quickly, like a storm. Diamond Joes was evasive frantically, but in a hurry, 9-tails still caught the opportunity and directly wrapped Diamond Joes around and carried him in the air. Damn it. Let go of me. Diamond Jaws's arm turned into a diamond again, and he slammed his tail violently. Whitebeard, are your men so vulnerable? Boring. 9-tails smiled contemptuously, then put devil fruit on her body and jumped directly out of the Moby Dick, heading towards the deep sea. Father. He actually escaped. Joes is so vulnerable in his hands. How can it be? Countless pirates stared in disbelief. And Whitebeard stood up quickly at this moment and said, put Joes down. HMPH, Whitebeard, lousy, I'm not interested in your crew, here you are. 9-tails sneered and threw Diamond Joes into the air, like playing volleyball, with a paw, and Diamond Joes is like a ball. flew backwards towards Whitebeard. Whitebeard's eyes were gloomy, a punch was blasted, and the space fluctuated strangely, offsetting the impact of Diamond Joe's, and finally the boy lay on the ground with blood spraying, and passed out. Advertisement. Nine Tails, dare to hurt my son, you can wait for me. Whitebeard's face was dark and angry. Nine Tails stood on the sea, smiling arrogantly, and then, a huge tail beast gun slowly condensed and formed, and the surrounding seawater was spread out, madly erupting. Whitebeard, give you a big gift, don't thank me. After that, the oversized tail beast gun was pushed by Nine Tails and rushed towards the mobile. The surrounding sea water instantly evaporated, and an earth-shaking momentum swept across the island. FK. F*K. Daddy. Daddy. Is this Nine Tails demon fox crazy? Damn. Protect the crew. Jump. Jump. Countless pirates were frightened, and Nine Tails just used this trick to dissipate the dark clouds in the sky directly. Who can resist such a large-scale killer move? Don't panic. Whitebeard's gaze was solemn, and he jumped down, standing directly on the deck of the mobile, staring at the howling tail beast cannon. Under the gaze of countless people, Whitebeard raised his fists, and an overbearing force rushed out of his fists. The space was affected and shaken invisibly. Vibration punch. Suddenly, an invisible match swept out, and instantly collided with the oversized tail beast cannon. The explosion sounded earth-shaking, and countless flames rushed around like a dragon. Many pirates jumped off the boat frantically to avoid the monstrous fireworks. Nine Tails sneered and turned to leave. Chapter 106. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The Whitebeard pirates are in a state of anxiety, but none of this has anything to do with the Nine Tails demon fox. Are you dead? Not dead. The oversized tail beast gun was resisted by Whitebeard's shock fist and did not cause substantial damage. But the explosion in this range has already shocked all the members. Shin Luo and Taotu lie beside each other leisurely, waiting for Nine Tails. Boom. There was a loud noise in the distance. Shin Luo noticed the vibration and couldn't help smiling. This Nine Tails is really restless. Not long after, a scarlet fox rushed towards him. Boss. Soon, Nine Tails demon fox appeared in front of Shin Luo. Where is devil fruit? Here, boss. Nine Tails directly took out 20 devil fruits and placed them in front of Shin Luo. Ding. Detect mysterious energy. Do you charge it? Charge. Ding. 13 zone devil fruit. Redeem 10,400 points. Ding. 5 Paramesha devil fruit. Redeem 4,500 points. Ding. 2 Logia devil fruits. Redeem 3,500 points. In total, 18,400 points. The system prompt sounded, and immediately, the previous number on the system integration panel changed rapidly, becoming 20,700 points. So many points. Can you reach a full level, right? Shin Luo asked, full of confidence. Advertisement. Ding dong. Sorry, host, the points are not enough. The last time I upgraded to the full level, it consumed 14,440 points. The next time I upgrade to the full level, 28,000 points are needed. If the points are not enough, I can't upgrade to the full level. Damn it, so expensive. Shin Luo heard that a mouthful of old blood spurted out. This system consumes points too terrifying. If this continues, it is impossible to upgrade to a simple full level without 50,000 or 60,000 points. What is the concept of 5 to 6,000 points? Calculated as 1 zone devil fruit 800 points. That is 60 or 70 fruits. Calculated based on 1 Paramesha devil fruit 900 points. That is 50 or 60 devil fruit. Logia. Then 30 or 40 pieces are needed. With so many fruits, it is only possible to reach a full level once, which is absolutely unstoppable. When his thoughts returned, Shin Luo brought Taotu and Nine Tails into the system space, and then entered the Fishmen Island. The Fishmen Island's trade is now quite developed, with rewards of tens of millions to hundreds of millions of pirates. In order to witness the business of beating celestial dragons once, they entered the Fishmen Island one after another. And this time, the one who made the most money was Shin Luo. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. It can be said that more than half of the pirates entered the Fishmen Island for celestial dragons. In one day, 1 celestial dragons can give Shin Luo tens of millions of Pele's wealth, and 10 celestial dragons can make hundreds of millions. Even if you are lucky, you can get a few devil fruits. 100 million a day. This kind of profiteering method, only Shin Luo can imagine, and only Shin Luo dare to do so. Walking through the Fishmen Island and seeing the bustling scene below, Shin Luo couldn't help but laugh. This kind of scene, King Neptune should have made money, and he can get all the sun tree sap. After a glance, Shin Luo went straight into the Dragon Palace city. At this moment, Neptune was sitting in a chair, staring at the treasure in front of him with a smile on his face. Nipton, what's wrong with smiling so happy? Hearing this, Neptune got up hurriedly and bowed. God. What laughing. Advertisement. God. The profits have exploded these few days. Just because you caught celestial dragons to start a business, you can get hundreds of millions of dollars in a day, and in just 2 days, you have harvested 10 devil fruits. Those pirates we got tired of hitting hands, so we booked tomorrow's. Now celestial dragons, it's really horrible, but, for some reason, they just can't die. Qin Luo chuckled when he heard the words, and said, "Where is devil fruit?" God. Here. After Neptune finished speaking, he hurriedly opened a box with 10 devil fruits lying quietly inside. Ding. The mysterious energy is detected. Do you charge it? Charge. Ding. 10 zone devil fruit. Redeem 8,000 points. What? Is it all zone devil fruit? Do you want to be so bloody? Qin Luo couldn't help but complain. 10 zone devil fruits are far worse than 10 Lodia devil fruits. However, since there is devil fruit, it is better than none. After that, Qin Luo looked at the integration panel. Balance. 28,700. Ding. The element that can be raised to the full level is detected. Is it to be raised to the full level? So fast. Just now Qin Luo thought about when he could reach a full level again. I didn't expect it to be so soon. What's up to the full level? Qin Luo is thinking deeply. He is not in a hurry to reach the full level. First ask clearly before saying, don't be a rubbish full level, then you will lose a lot. Eyes are at full level. Eyes at full level. What do they have? Eyes at full level. As the name suggests, raise your eyes to the peak full level. You can freely use various eye abilities such as Sharingan, Mangekyo Sharingan, Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, Tenseigan, Rinnegan, Samsara Sharingan, etc. Susanoo, Amaterasu, Moonredding, Kamui, etc. eye abilities. So strong. Qin Luo's eyes widened in disbelief. The eyes in Naruto are so powerful that they explode, and in the end they are almost all suppressed by those eyes. Advertisement. For example, Uchiha Itachi's Amaterasu can burn a slice every minute, and monthly reading is the best thing to torture a person's soul. Not dead. The most powerful thing to deal with immortality is monthly reading. Infinite loop. Breaking moves. Upgrade to full level. After thinking about it, I found that besides invincibility at the full eye level, there was only invincibility. This is more than twice as powerful as summoning at full level. Summoning the full level is to summon the little brother, and this eye full level is invincible in minutes. Who can kill Qin Luo? Ding. The promotion to the full level is successful. 28,500 points are consumed. Remaining points. 200. 5.2. FCK. Heartache. So many points. I only earned it with difficulty. Qin Luo's heart was bleeding when he saw the miserable number, but it was worth it to be able to redeem his awesome eyes. Afterwards, Qin Luo brought Ninetales and Taodu directly out, shocking Neptune, but Qin Luo didn't notice the change of Neptune's expression at all, and put his whole heart on his eyes. Taking out a mirror, Qin Luo began the experiment. 1 Tomo Sharingan. 2 Tomo Sharingan. 3 Tomo Sharingan. Mangekyo Sharingan. Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Grow your eyes. Just when he was in the mood, Qin Luo changed his eyes directly, and then looked at the peach rabbit. That was awkward. Extremely trivial. Chapter 107. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Grow your eyes. Qin Luo snorted, and immediately, his original Scarlet Sharingan from the Uchiha clan turned into white eyes unique to the Cataract family. After the white eyes are converted, the blood vessels around Qin Luo's eyelids bulged, and then, his eyes faintly looked towards Taodu. Taodu felt Qin Luo's gaze, turned his head, and looked confused. As for the white eyes of the Cataract family, Taodu doesn't know what it is for. Taodu doesn't understand, but this doesn't mean that Ninetales is mentally retarded. Boss, why did you roll the eyes of the Hyuga clan? Of course, Qin Luo didn't bother to answer Ninetales' questions. Now Qin Luo is staring at the slightly protruding flower of the peach rabbit with justice. Tisk tisk, this must have B. No, how about B alone? This must have C, which is not right. C is not so small, but it must not be A. The old god Qin Luo was staring at Taodu's body forever, through the black clothes and red robe, and by holding up the white and tender surroundings, this scene made his blood pulse, spurt, and stretch. If the Hyuga clan knew that Qin Luo used the proud white eyes of their family to do 11 these things, they would definitely be annoyed to pop out of the coffin and fight Qin Luo desperately. Ninetales, what is the Hyuga clan? What is blank eyes? Taodu Chao's face is full of doubts. Taodu has never heard of these things. Could it be? What kind of hidden family in this world? Advertisement. Girl, the Hyuga family is a family in our world. Their family has a special mark, that is, the eyes are white. During the use of white eyes, you can see the skin through the clothes, and even through the body, you can see the wonders. Baimai. In short, everything about you can't escape these eyes. Ninetales Demon Fox smiled, and added cunningly, it's like Miss Peach Rabbit in clothes, in front of the boss, that's a silk no. Hang. Don't yell at the boss, he will definitely not be able to take it. Wow. Is it so powerful? Tautu was shocked by her ability to roll her eyes, then she seemed to have expected something, her expression changed wildly, she screamed, and she blocked her hands in front of Hungary, her beautiful eyes full of anger, and she directed at Qin Luo yelled, "Say wolf. Close your eyes. Say wolf. Close your eyes." But Qin Luo didn't care at all. While enjoying the beautiful scenery, he admired. Wow, it's so cute. Wow. It's so elastic. It's also flickering. Tautu screamed and ran away in embarrassment after hearing these embarrassing, red swear words. Escaped from sight, Qin Luo could only quietly retract his gaze, walked to Nine Tails, and slapped it. Bang. Wow. Nine Tails squatted on the ground in tears, staring at Qin Luo with grievances. Boss, what did you beat me for? Did I say it wrong? Damn. You talk a lot. You know a lot, don't you? Just do you know what is blanking your eyes, right? Qin Luo pretended to be angrily. Boss, I'm sorry. Xiao Ju won't dare anymore. Nine Tails curled up aside, aggrieved like a little daughter-in-law, completely different from the arrogant and domineering one in Hokage world. Unlucky. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Qin Luo said in dissatisfaction, and walked into Longgengsheng to build a relationship with his little Tautu sister. Woo. Nine Tails hugged his head aggrievedly and screamed. Dash 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 dash. At the same time, the original world government, above the Holy Land, was once again destroyed by Luyan's meteorite. On the huge red cloud boulder, there are many noble and luxurious high-rise buildings, once again restoring the appearance of the former world government. Within 5 days, Ganggukong really completed all of this, and the world government reappeared and restored order again. Advertisement. However, only the red cloud logo under world government is extremely dazzling. This is the trace left by the god, Luyun, but Five Elders has no ability to dismantle it. Let this red cloud sign exist and engrave the feet of Luyun at that time. This is simply the greatest irony, the greatest to Five Elders of contempt. Keeping this red cloud logo can only be a provocation to the highest authority in the world government all the time. Steel bones. Paint out this eye-catching red cloud. The bald old man roared at the steel bones again and again angrily. Yes. Gang Bone nodded, and in front of 5 elders, he didn't dare to resist at all. My lord, there is one thing I want to say. Ganggukong said with a gloomy face. Say. The old man with the sword wiped the long sword, his eyes kept unchanged. Qin Luo, the kid who seems to have a hidden family behind him, he arrested our naval headquarters guy, and I played against him personally. I couldn't beat him. Can't beat it. Suddenly, this sentence seemed to have successfully attracted the interest of 5 elders, and the 5 old men all turned their attention. Yes, my arm was broken by this kid. Ganggukong was very decadent and said with a wry smile. Broken. 5 elders frowned, then glanced at the steel hollow, but the right side of the steel hollow is not the empty sleeve. Are you pretending to be a seastone arm? 5 elders swept away and noticed the anomaly. Yes, my lord. Steel bone, you have the strength of a marshal, aren't you even an opponent? Advertisement. My lord, this time I am begging one of the adults to follow us to redeem the person, and when the person is redeemed, I will go directly to catch this Qin Luo. Absurd. The bald old man stared at Ganggukong dissatisfiedly, and said, all the members of the dignified naval headquarters, even a kid can't catch it, so I have to rely on my hand. My lord. Hearing that, all members of naval headquarters bowed their heads, but Garp looked badly and objected. My lord, this kid ignores any physical attacks. All of us can't beat him 837, so what do we do? Grab. Ignore physical attacks. Logia demon fruit power. The short old man frowned. No, this kid is not a Logia capable person, but he is better than a Logia capable person. He is not afraid of armed attacks. As that's so. 5 elders frowned, feeling a bit tricky. After a few minutes of thinking, the bald old man smiled. This time I lead the team. He can ignore physical attacks, but he can't escape the space barrier. Yes. Seeing the promise of 5 elders, the steel hollow core had some confidence. After doing all this, 5 elders relocated to the Holy Land Mary Geois. In 5 days, they emptied the steel bones and they were so tired to die and they almost burped. After the completion of the construction, they have not received the praise from 5 elders. That feeling is really dash 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 dash. At the same time, in New World, Whitebeard is gathering a large number of pirate groups. In just 5 days, the Whitebeard pirate group, 16 teams, totaling 1,500 people, 35 pirate groups under its command, totaling 20,000 people, all assembled. This is a huge strength. Dozens of hundreds of ships are waiting for Whitebeard's order. As for naval headquarters, dozens of marine battleships were also assembled, and the steel battleships gathered together aggressively, waiting to set off toward the new world. The Whitebeard Pirate Group, naval headquarters, this time is going to shed blood to catch Qin Luo. Chapter 108. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The Whitebeard Pirate Group, naval headquarters, are all gathering frantically. In just 10 days, it was like yesterday. Qin Luo took Taotu and Nine Tails to an island in New World. This island rains all year round and the vegetation on the island is luxuriant. It is called Guadao. Now, on the edge of the fruit island, Qin Luo is standing with his hands behind, while Nine Tails is standing quietly on the side after returning to its original state. Master, can Whitebeard come? Nine Tails couldn't help but curiously asked. It didn't know Whitebeard, so it couldn't guess. Meeting. Qin Luo murmured with a deep gaze. Taotu was wearing a red cloud robe, standing aside, silent. I'll go trade in a while. Taotu, you are on this island, I will arrange the enchantment, you are safe here. No way, this little girl wants to see the big scene, so Qin Luo also brought her, and besides, I will see the people from naval headquarters later, how can I lack the peach rabbit? Yeah, Taotu blinked her beautiful eyes and nodded in agreement. Repulsion, ring storm. Qin Luo's eyes condensed, and then the air stopped abruptly on the island. Then, a circular air current resembling a protective shield suddenly appeared on the entire island. The air current was strong, enveloping the entire island and faintly. The space is not stable. The repulsion space condensed with repulsion force. Taotu is inside, no one can touch her, even Whitebeard's shock fruit can't destroy the island at all. You are here with peace of mind. Qin Luo gave a chuckle, put on the red cloud and black robe, and put on the mask, then stepped on the void and led Nine Tails to the front. In the blink of an eye, he had already gone hundreds of meters. Qin Luo raised his head. 1,000 meters ahead, there were 40 or 50 pirate ships. On the pirate flag, there was a skeleton with white teeth shining, and behind the skeleton, there were 2 white bones in a cross, on top of the skeleton. There is also a crescent-shaped white beard. Whitebeard Pirates. Advertisement. At the same time, the Whitebeard Pirates also saw the Nine Tails demon fox and the little ghost in front of Nine Tails. The Moby Dick sailed fast, and the water on both sides was continuously washed out, forming waves. Behind the Moby Dick ship, a dense swarm of pirate ships swarmed in. There were tens of thousands of pirates and they were aggressive. When the Whitebeard Pirates saw Qin Luo walking in the void, they were suddenly surprised. The capable foot on the void. Could it be the lion fruit ability the same as Golden Lion? This monster, Marco, can fly because it has wings, and this monster has nothing to do with it. HMPH. No matter what kind of ability he is, in my hands, Whitebeard, he won't want to get any benefits. Just as the Whitebeard Pirates were talking about it, Qin Luo smiled, and stepped on the void, 100 meters in an instant. Under everyone's astonished gaze, he took Nine Tails directly onto the pirate ship of the Moby Dick. Whitebeard, how is Devil Fruit preparing? Qin Luo is wearing a mask and standing in front of Whitebeard. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Goo la 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 la. Devil Fruit is already in the box, but Luyun Imp, just your small body, dare to threaten me, Whitebeard. Are you afraid that I will smash you with a punch? Whitebeard was so powerful that he stood up and looked down at Qin Luo as if he were a master. His eyes were full of contempt. Since this flowing cloud dared to appear here, Whitebeard would have the confidence to catch this kid. Seastone, Whitebeard has prepared the crew for a long time, this time he is completely prepared, he is confident to catch Luyun. That's why you are so confident. Just Qin Luo's small body, not Whitebeard arrogant, really is a punch. Whitebeard, who did you just say is not tall? Qin Luo plucked his ears and asked casually. You, kid, can't even reach my knees, are you tall? Puff. Advertisement. For a moment, all the members of the Moby Dick laughed out loud. Father, you are too much, nothing can reach your knees, you can't even reach your ankles. Wow, ha 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 ha. Things like ants dare to negotiate terms in front of the old man. Hee hee, Dad is notoriously fierce, strong and burly, with a body like a weak chicken, how can I compare with Dad? Father, save him some face, Marco is still in his hands. Ha ha ha, I can't help it, let's laugh for a while. What happened to Marco in his hands? Can this kid escape? As long as he gets on Dad's boat, he is doomed to die. Little devil, since you are here, there is absolutely no possibility of escape. If you are acquainted, quickly release Marco. Because you have been surrounded by. As Diamond Joe's finished speaking, the sea shook suddenly. Immediately, a huge water curtain appeared around Qin Luo. The waves swept through and the waves were rough. With a few roars, all 15 or 6 pirate ships had surfaced. Countless pirate ships directly surrounded Qin Luo in the middle. The captain of the 3rd Division, Diamond Joe's, confidently stopped Hungary with his arms. The 4th Division Captain Sachi grinned and looked arrogant. They have sea stone in them, and they are not afraid of those with abilities. Even if this floating cloud imp is powerful, it is still vulnerable in front of sea stone. This is their most confident trump card. The captain and members of the Moby Dick stared at Lu Yun contemptuously, thinking that Lu Yun was already a turtle in the urn. Little devil, you are too young. I can trample you to death with 1 foot. If you are acquainted, let Marco out quickly. Otherwise, I don't mind if I punch you to death. Whitebeard is a burly figure, looking down at Shin Luo with a cold look. Am I young? Shin Luo smiled. Whitebeard really didn't know how to write dead words. Aren't you young? Whitebeard's gaze is frantic, giving enough Shin Luo's power. Little devil, so small, isn't Gigi smaller? Advertisement. Ha ha ha, come on, let's make 2 gestures, we can't cut yours off, I'll change one for you. Weak body, I can slap. The crew on the mobile became more arrogant and overbearing, and even the eyes of Ninetales were red and angry. Master, let my one-tail beast shell them to death. No need to. Shin Luo sneered, and then the physical body began to perform at full level. In an instant, Shin Luo's body, under the contempt, arrogance, and arrogant eyes of all the members of the Whitebeard pirate group, skyrocketed. Seeing this, all the members of the Whitebeard pirate group were dumbfounded and surprised again and again. The pirates who laughed at Shin Luo were dumbfounded and stood still, dumbfounded. Diamond Joe stared at Shin Luo's rising body like a ghost, with a look of astonishment. Even Whitebeard was shocked. How is this possible? FK, is he a giant? Why is this kid so tall? FCK, such a comparison, we are ants. The moment before, he laughed presumptuously, and the next moment, everyone was stunned, and his face crackled. Shin Luo ignored these pirates at all. His body was still soaring. In an instant, it had already overshadowed Whitebeard. There was no tendency to stop at all. It broke through. The original 1-meter-high body turned into 4 in the blink of an eye. A giant of 50 meters. The Moby Dick kept clicking loudly, the hull kept sinking, and it was extremely difficult to support. Seeing this, Shin Luo stopped and continued to grow. If it hadn't been for the Moby Dick that had been crushed and could not be supported, Shin Luo would continue to rise. 50 meters away, Shin Luo lowered the huge head that was 7 or 8 meters long and chuckled. Whitebeard, am I still young? Can you kill me with 1 punch? Without waiting for Whitebeard's answer, Shin Luo lifted the huge soul of 7 or 8 meters long and stepped on Whitebeard. Chapter 109. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Seeing the huge soles of feet approaching, Whitebeard suddenly became gloomy. Kang. The blade directly collided with the soles of Shin Luo's feet, and the flames splashed. The pirates in the distance looked extremely anxious. Cracks spread out in the space, and the hull shook violently. Many pirates are holding their heads in panic. Boom. Shin Luo's soles pressed hard, and an amazing force gathered from his whole body to his right foot. Under 1 foot, the huge inertia directly caused Whitebeard's body to crush the deck. Shake punch. Whitebeard stretched out his hands, changed his palms into fists, hung it high, and slammed it out suddenly. Boom. With a punch in the air, in an instant, there were fine cracks in the space, and these cracks spread out like a spider web. From the fist, ripples spread out instantly. In the next second, the power of vibration swept the spot. Boom. The surging power hit the soles of Shin Luo's feet, causing Shin Luo to suffocate slightly, and the soles of his feet slowly lifted up. Then, Whitebeard's vibration ability disappeared. Does it hurt? 670 does not hurt. Shin Luo's physical body is at full level, even if he stands in front of Whitebeard and lets him fight, it will not necessarily hurt Shin Luo even a bit. Advertisement. Whitebeard, haven't you eaten yet? Shin Luo felt the power of Whitebeard's vibrating fist and couldn't help but smile. Damn it. Whitebeard's eyes were green, and this punch was completely effective in front of Shin Luo. In an instant, Whitebeard drew his sword and flashed out, and then stepped on the deck, his whole body leapt up, and under the eyes of countless pirates, he slashed out. Boom. The sword aura was raging, and the huge circular scimitar-shaped sword aura whizzed up and swept away at Shin Luo's head. Ah. Seeing this, Shin Luo couldn't help but sneer. Does Whitebeard think he has the weakest head? Sword chi swept across, and the sea was in chaos, like a storm swept across, and the momentum was earth-shattering, and the entire Moby Dick trembled violently. Boom. 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 As the sword gas swept across, the dozens of boats all around suddenly sounded the roar of fierce cannonballs. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Immediately, Shin Luo saw a large net made of sea stone shot out of the cannon and entangled towards him. Father! Sea stone! Diamond Joe's yelled to remind Whitebeard. Whitebeard's eyes flashed, and the figure quickly moved away. Although he has superpowers, it does not mean that he is not afraid of sea stone. Woo! 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 Sword chi swept Shin Luo, and then countless sea stones whizzed out, all hitting Shin Luo's body. Advertisement. It is good. Ha ha ha. Be entangled by sea stone. Now this kid can't escape. Wow ha ha ha. Demon fruit power is strong. Can you not be afraid of sea water and sea stone? Kid, you can't escape today. Hand over Marco obediently. At the moment they were entangled, many pirates stuck their heads out, forgetting Qin Luo's ferocity, and all laughed arrogantly. Leave Marco, you can't escape. Diamond Joe's also turned his upper body into a diamond and rushed towards Qin Luo. Qin Luo sneered, what these little ghosts are thinking is so simple. Boom. Just as the pirates hadn't recollected it, Qin Luo's giant foot, which could be called 7 or 8 meters, kicked Diamond Joe's. Unprepared, the diamond on Diamond Jaws' body was kicked to pieces, and the whole person was kicked out for a full 40 to 50 meters. Kick away. FK. What did I see? Kick to fly. So terrible. The captain of the 3rd division has nothing to fight back in front of him. Damn. Let him play. Qin Luo looked at the obnoxious pirates and launched a clearing operation, kicking one by one, and the pirates flew into the sky with frightened faces. Just like football, they were kicked out so far. In an instant, more than half of the pirates disappeared on the entire Moby Dick. The rest of the pirates looked at each other, looking like hell. Can you have superpowers when you are bound by a sea stone? Kick people away with one kick. Damn it. What kind of fruit is this? You are not even afraid of sea stone. It will not be smaller even if it is controlled by sea stone. Even more powerful than before. How is it possible? All fruit-capable people are afraid of sea stone. This sea stone is the nemesis of capable people. It will never fail. Is this sea stone fake? Or is this kid not a capable person? Advertisement. Everyone was suspicious, but Whitebeard stood on the deck with a gloomy expression and said coldly, enough. Enough. Upon hearing this, Qin Luo sneered. Whitebeard, who do you think I am? It's enough for you to say enough. Wasn't it an arrogant and domineering attitude just now? Why is it not arrogant anymore? Stop ridiculing. Lu Yun. If this goes on, you and I will only lose out. Why don't we just stop here? How? Stop. Why stop? If you don't give up, it will only be cheaper marine. Whitebeard's face was pale. He had already noticed the naval headquarters ships 1 nautical mile away. Whitebeard didn't expect the naval headquarters personnel to appear in New World. Feeling the scale of the marine battleship, Whitebeard's face grew gloomy. If it is 1 ship or 2, Whitebeard is not afraid at all, but what he has detected is no less than 100 warships. This is a complete dispatch. Marine. Where is Marine? When the pirates heard this, the members of the more than 40 pirate boats suddenly panicked. Some pirate boats took out their binoculars and swept around. I suddenly saw the dense white sails with the blue seagull logo. Marine. It's Marine. Father. Marine is coming. There are no fewer than 50 battleships. Damn it. How come there are so many marine battleships? Seeing the marine battleship in the distance, Whitebeard couldn't help snarling angrily. Boy. Did you tell Marine about it? It attracted the naval headquarters battleship. Qin Luo heard the words and smiled disdainfully. Whitebeard, don't you think these words are ridiculous? I need to use such a despicable means. Damn it. I'm unlucky. I'm willing to give you 40 devil fruits and give Marco to me. This matter will be clear. Not enough. Qin Luo sneered. Now it's when Whitebeard is crazy. Not far behind Qin Luo is the naval headquarters ship. When Marine sees the pirates, it is not particularly jealous. Besides, it is Naval who leads the team this time. The marshal of the headquarters, steel bone empty. Even if Whitebeard escapes now, whether he can escape is still a question. 60. Let go of Marco. We are not entangled. I will not trouble you in the future. Chapter 110. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Whitebeard noticed that the naval headquarters was approaching quickly, and the whole person was going crazy. The entire group of the Whitebeard pirate group is here. If there are tens of thousands of pirates surrounded by Marine, they will inevitably cause large-scale casualties. If Whitebeard competes with Marine alone, it will not be afraid. But now there is a difficult flowing cloud around him, and there is even a 9-tails demon fox. These two combined, enough for him to drink a pot of Whitebeard. If naval headquarters arrives and flanks on both sides, his situation will be extremely dangerous. 60 devil fruits. Whitebeard shouted the number angrily. 60. Qin Luo's eyes were deep, and he said, okay, 60 is 60. Since someone gave him devil fruit, how could Qin Luo be so stupid not to get it? Back to normal. Qin Luo muttered silently, and then Qingtian's body quickly became smaller in everyone's eyes until it returned to normal. Hand over devil fruit. Qin Luo stood there, his eyes faint, and said calmly. At this time, no pirate dared to laugh at Qin Luo. These are 40 devil fruits, which are all of my family. Whitebeard pulled out 2 large boxes and put them in front of Qin Luo. Why, not 60? Then play a ball. 60 devil fruits, where can I find you in such a short time? These are 40, and the remaining 20 will be returned to you in the future. My Whitebeard pirates will not deny it. Whitebeard, his eyes were fierce, and if there was no marine here, Whitebeard would not compromise with Luyun. He, Whitebeard, is not afraid of flowing clouds, but his subordinates. I'm afraid they will suffer. Advertisement. Oh. Shin Luo nodded, and then under the horrified eyes of everyone, he slowly pulled out a piece of paper, quickly wrote a few words, and handed it to Whitebeard. No, Whitebeard, this is an IOU, sign it, and by the way, I'm making a fingerprint. Damn, you don't trust me, Whitebeard. Whitebeard's eyes were full of anger, very annoyed. It's not distrust, it's also for everyone's convenience. Now it is the uncle who borrows the money, and the grandson is the one who wants to borrow money. There are borrowings and repayments. It is not difficult to borrow again. Hurry up and sign and draw a pledge. Shin Luo rolled his eyelids and smiled. Humph. Whitebeard glared at Shin Luo, then reluctantly wrote his name, then cut his finger with a sword and pressed a fingerprint. Give. Whitebeard threw the note away, angrily. This is the same as the previous treaty of mourning rights and insulting the country, knowing that it will end, but having to sign it. Now Whitebeard is in this mood. Shin Luo took the note, saw Edward Newgate on it, and pressed his fingerprint. Shin Luo smiled brightly. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Devil fruit. Upon hearing this, Whitebeard threw the 2 boxes in front of Shin Luo aggrieved. Ding. Mysterious energy is detected. Do you charge it? Charge. Ding. Receiving. Ding. 35 zone devil fruit. Points. 28,000. Ding. 3 Paramesha devil fruit. Points. 2,700. Total. 30,700 points. The points panel changed quickly, and 30,900 points appeared directly. Advertisement. After doing all this, Shin Luo blinked insignificantly. Then, in front of Whitebeard, he took a shot in the void and opened the box. Kong dang. Kong dang. The 2 boxes were opened instantly, revealing the empty boxes inside. Whitebeard, I am sincere to negotiate terms with you, so you just play with me. Shin Luo pretended to be angry and hummed. What do you mean? Whitebeard was dumbfounded, and asked gloomily. What do you mean? You just want to send me 2 empty boxes. You don't want to give me devil fruit, do you? Shin Luo stared at Whitebeard angrily. Empty box. Whitebeard looked dumbfounded, and then looked at the box. The box was completely empty, without a devil fruit. Damn it. Devil fruit. Whitebeard's face was shocked, and his eyes burst into rage. Stop acting, Whitebeard, even playing with me with an empty box, when I am so bullied. Boy, did you make your hands and feet. The 2 boxes were still full just now. Whitebeard was very angry and glared at Shin Luo. Oh, it's really messing with dirty water. You must pay attention to evidence when arresting people. You and I were here just now. Did you see that I did it? Shin Luo was very angry, and his eyes swept across. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Whitebeard collapsed frantically. 40 devil fruits disappeared under his eyelids, without even noticing them. They were really suffocated and exploded. Whitebeard, since you can't get 40 devil fruit, let's keep playing. After that, Shin Luo intends to continue to grow bigger and start playing football. Wait. Whitebeard waved his hand, and said angrily, I'll write you an IOU, 60 devil fruit. In the future, the Whitebeard pirates will pay it back. Really, I, Whitebeard, can be fake. Happy. Advertisement. Shin Luo nodded in satisfaction, and then took out an IOU again. Whitebeard wrote his name and pressed his fingerprint. After that, Shin Luo tore up the original note. Release Marco. Whitebeard was so angry that he couldn't send it out in front of Shin Luo. Shin Luo pondered for a moment, and threw the Phoenix Marco towards Whitebeard. Marco, you have a good dad. You are so happy. Next time remember, don't provoke me, otherwise, your Whitebeard pirates will explode. 0. Humph. Whitebeard caught the Phoenix Marco, and shouted directly, Whitebeard pirates, all retreat. Yes, yes. Suddenly, all the members of the Whitebeard pirate group turned the bow of the ship one after another and headed away. This is the first time Whitebeard has escaped with a disgraced face, and everything today is dog-blooded. Shin Luo stood on the void, smiling from ear to ear. Ninetails Demon Fox beside him, wondering, Master, why are those 2 boxes of devil fruit gone? Did the master move the hands and feet? It's not my hands and feet, it's really not me. Shin Luo laughed. This time the system should be the fault of the system. It is the fault of the system. It's okay to absorb other people's devil fruit. Really, don't you know how to take other people's things casually? At the same time, all members of Naval Headquarters also saw the Whitebeard pirate group that was fleeing quickly. Marshal, it's the Whitebeard pirates. Would you like to pursue it? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You can't let him escape. I didn't expect to run into the Whitebeard pirates here. It seems that Whitebeard is fighting people. Would you like to take advantage of the emptiness, to destroy the Whitebeard pirates? This time our Naval Headquarters is all out. We can definitely defeat the Whitebeard pirates. Lieutenant General Marine, Admiral, all have a golden light. There are really not many opportunities like this. Today this opportunity is a rare opportunity. Chapter 111. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. This is the perfect time to defeat the Whitebeard pirates. I missed it. I am afraid there is no such condition for a long time. The right time and place. All have an advantage. Marshal Steelbone Kong stood on the deck of the warship, thinking deeply. The Whitebeard pirates, he also wanted to annihilate them in one fell swoop, but this would consume more than half of their strength. What if Qin Luo takes advantage of the two defeats? Under Gangukong's decisiveness, he directly refused. All members, our purpose this time is to rescue the members of Naval Headquarters, not to capture Whitebeard. This time he is fortune-telling. Gangukong suppressed the impulse in his heart and calmed down. But, Marshal, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Hurry up and give orders, Marshal. Whitebeard will never escape. Marine looked excited. This was a chance to wipe out the Whitebeard pirates. Gangukong was now in a dilemma. At the same time, Qin Luo had already changed the clothes of Luyun, and showed his due face. Entering the fruit island, bringing the peach rabbit out, Qin Luo stared at it, as if crossing a very long distance. He saw a fleet approaching mightily. Are you here? Qin Luo muttered to himself. Then, walking away from the sea, his figure continued to change, and illusory afterimages appeared on the sea. Whitebeard glared at the sea behind, his expression gloomy. Floating cloud. Whitebeard, will surely return it double in the future. Zhou's father. Go and check the identity of Luyun, thoroughly. Be sure to find out all his information. Whitebeard was so angry that today he has completely wiped out his family, and Whitebeard has nothing to do. When he took out the two boxes, they were full, and within a few seconds, they swept away. Whitebeard had guessed that Luyun moved his hands and feet. As for the technique used, Whitebeard didn't know it, but it must be Luyun. Cloud. No doubt. Advertisement. But this aggrieved thing, he can only endure it. Because there is a mighty marine attacking behind, if he and Qin Luo fight to death, then their Whitebeard pirates will all be destroyed. The end must be miserable. He knew who the thief was, but he had nothing to do with the thief. On the contrary, it is necessary to sign the IOU for bereavement and humiliation. This is a shame for Whitebeard. He suffered a big loss from a blood mother. Luyun smashed him. Dash 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 dash. On the other hand, Qin Luo was dressed in white, fluttering robes, and wearing a peach and rabbit chicly, standing on the wavy sea, quietly waiting for the Naval Headquarters warship. Soon, a mighty fleet approached quickly, and densely packed marine figures stood on the battleship, all expressions dignified. Seeing the Naval Headquarters staff, Qin Luo's handsome face showed a faint smile, and an invisible aura immediately shocked the audience. Somewhere in New World, huge battleships stopped at sea. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. In this sea area, the wind direction is unpredictable and the current is chaotic. If a ship wants to sail here, it must have experienced navigators, but Naval Headquarters warships do not need skilled navigators. They have special mechanical power devices at the bottom of the ship. Sailing without wind, ignoring calm belt and chaotic marine. In just a few days, the warships of Naval Headquarters passed through the Holy Land and entered the New World. These ships are all marine battleships with double decks and double rows of artillery. The exteriors are all made of steel and are no less than 10 times harder than wooden ships. From a distance, they are lined up and magnificent. On the main ship, a group of people stood dignifiedly at the bow of the ship, looking at the figure standing on the sea in the distance. Qin Luo. Qin Luo. Come on the sea. He really is not afraid of the sea. What is his ability? He is not afraid of the sea. Able to stand on the sea without any help. Similar to lion fruit. Damn it, a golden lion is enough trouble. I didn't expect there are pirates with similar ability in this world. Advertisement. Seeing Qin Luo and Taotu, Naval Headquarters exploded directly. Countless Marines stared at it, and when they saw Qin Luo's abilities, they were extremely shocked. Gang Bone Kong's eyes were gloomy. It was this guy who broke his arm on the original holy ground. That terrifying power directly left a shadow in Gang Bone Kong's heart. Qin Luo. The main battleship approached, and the steel skeleton saw this figure clearly, and shouted vigorously. Steel bone empty, how is devil fruit prepared? Qin Luo stood in front, looking squarely at all members of Naval Headquarters, looking plain. Lieutenant General Crane, take out the prepared devil fruit. The steel bone turned his head idling, his M-shaped beard trembled. Yes, Marshal. Under Lieutenant General Crane's command, he directly pulled out 2 boxes in the eyes of everyone. Marshal, there are 25 devil fruits in this. Lieutenant General Crane reported with a serious expression. The surrounding Marines immediately looked at each other. 25 devil fruits, how many capable people could this create? All of a sudden, countless Marines felt unworthy thoughts. 25 devil fruits, all here. Shin Luo, where are my subordinates? The steel-boned empty cloak grinned, his expression heavy. Wait a minute. Shin Luo smiled faintly, and pointed out with his right hand. Immediately, a black hole emerged, and 5 figures spewed out from the black hole. Zephyr, Sengoku, Pelusalino, Sakazuki, Charmako Street. Their faces were slightly pale, and apart from their wrinkled clothes and messy hair, there were not many injuries on their bodies. Shin Luo. Sakazuki opened his eyes and saw Shin Luo hit with a punch when he was sober. Advertisement. Spitfire. Boom. A huge lava fist that was earth-shaking and extremely hot came with a roar. The surrounding space was faintly crushed, the seawater instantly evaporated, and the surrounding temperature rose sharply. Roll. Shin Luo spit out, lifted his right foot, and kicked directly into the lava punch. Click, click, click. Shin Luo's body is astonishingly sharp, instantly penetrating the lava 4.0 punches and kicking it on Akainu's Hungarian chamber. Puff. Akainu spouted blood and flew out. Sakazuki. Lieutenant General. Damn it. Gengukong's expression was ashen, and his figure flickered, and he flashed behind Sakazuki for an instant, stopping him. Whoosh. In an instant, Gangbone returned to the main battleship, threw Sakazuki to the rear, and said, "Go call a doctor and give him treatment." Yes. Suddenly, there was a commotion on the main battleship. Shin Luo kicked, and the figure returned to its original position, his eyes flat and no waves. His physical body is already at full level, and he is not afraid of lava. Leeway. Sakazuki could not fight back in front of Shin Luo. Chapter 112. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. One move, Sakazuki. The people at Naval Headquarters looked at each other. No one knows what kind of strength Shin Luo has. With the lessons learned, the remaining Naval Headquarters members stayed in shock and did not dare to move. Shin Luo. Gangbone Kong's eyes were gloomy, and shouted, "Give the other 4 to me and devil fruit to you. Pay with one hand and deliver with the other. It is good." Gangbone nodded, and immediately waved his right hand. An invisible storm directly wrapped around the 2 boxes and threw it towards Shin Luo. Happy. Shin Luo saw the arrival of the 2 iron boxes and threw all the remaining 4 people over. As the boxes flew into the sky, Shin Luo took a photo with his right hand. Universal pull. Whoosh. In an instant, 2 iron boxes appeared in front of Shin Luo's eyes. Ding. Mysterious energy is detected. Do you charge it? Charge. Ding. Receiving. Ding. 20 zone devil fruit. Points. 16,000. Ding. 5 paramesha devil fruit. Points. 4,500. In total, 20,500 points. After that, the scoreboard flashes again, directly becoming 51,400. Shin Luo took a look, and was a little surprised. In a short day, he gained more than 50,000 points. This speed. Advertisement. Suppressing the excitement in his heart, Shin Luo looked at the steel hollow. Zephyr, Pelusalino, Sengoku, and Charmako-san were safely on the deck. Shin Luo. Let go of the peach rabbit. At this moment, Lieutenant Crane stood on the deck with a sullen face and shouted. Okay. Shin Luo heard the words and looked up, and saw Lieutenant General Crane, whose face was covered with wrinkles, speaking with a serious face. Let it go. Shin Luo smiled lightly. I didn't catch her again, so why did I let it go? Fart. You kidnapped the peach rabbit, is it still not caught? Lieutenant General Crane spoke sharply and his eyes were gloomy. Who said I kidnapped her? No, now Tautu is by my side. Should she return to your naval headquarters, or follow me as a pirate to do evil at sea? Now let her choose. Shin Luo spread his hands and let Tautu decide. At this time, Shin Luo was also a little nervous. In order to brainwash Tautu, he even went to the Holy Land and arrested the Tianlongren on a large scale. If Tautu is soft-hearted and returns to Lieutenant General Crane again, this is what happened. It fell short. How to choose? Shin Luo gave it to Tautu himself. Peach Rabbit. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Lieutenant General Crane stood in front of the battleship, his eyes were calm, and he said solemnly, "Come back." Tautu stood up cowardly and looked at his sister, suddenly a little hard to make a decision. At the beginning of naval headquarters, Ishin wanted to uphold justice, but in the end, he found that all this was just a joke. The protected Tianlong people are arrogant and corrupt. In a word, these rubbish are not worthy of letting Tautu serve them. Come back. Lieutenant General Crane's face was as dark as water, already in a commanding tone. All Marines held their breath, and even Gangukong closed their mouths obediently. Crane knows Tautu best, so let their sisters handle it by themselves. Advertisement. Seeing Tautu still hesitating, Lieutenant General Crane had a bad premonition and hurriedly asked, "What? Shin Luo, the kid threatening you?" "No." Tautu shook his head hurriedly. "Then why didn't you come back? Did you get given by him?" Lieutenant General Crane suddenly thought of a possibility, and a cold light burst into his beautiful eyes. No. Tautu vetoed again. Why is that? Could it be? You followed this pirate for a few days and don't want to be a marine anymore. Do you want to be a pirate? Everyone was silent. For a time, there were only two women talking here, and all the members were anxiously waiting for Tautu to finish. Miss Tautu, come back. Dear Miss Tautu. Seeing Tautu's inactivity, Cha Dolphin suddenly yelled in panic, looking anxious. To shut up. Tautu's beautiful eyes glared at the T-Dolphin, and then turned around and looked at Chin Luo insignificantly. At this moment, Chin Luo is standing behind Tautu, smiling and saying, "You decide for yourself, what justice in your heart is, it's all up to you to decide." Okay. Tautu nodded, biting her teeth tightly, making a decision. Peach Rabbit, you really don't want to come back. In just a few days, what kind of fascinating soup did this kid give you? Seeing Tautu's delay in making a decision, Lieutenant General Crane couldn't help being angry at this moment with her calm temperament. Shave. Moonwalk. Lieutenant General Crane flashed, wrapped armament Hockey's fist, and hammered towards Chin Luo. Boy, what did you do to Peach Rabbit? Lieutenant Crane was furious, and thundered directly. In an instant, Hockey's fist covered in armed color appeared less than 1 meter in front of Chin Luo. Crane. Gangukong's complexion changed, and his expression was shocked by the sudden change, and he directly cast Moonwalk to follow him. No, sister. Tautu's face was startled, and conditioned LY flashed in front of Chin Luo, trying to resist Lieutenant General Crane's punch. Advertisement. Peach Rabbit. Chin Luo watched Tautu's movements with a little surprise, his heart warmed, and then directly picked up Tautu and dodged quickly. Boom. Lieutenant General Crane roared his iron fist, and the surging fist wind slammed on the surface of the sea, starting a column of water. Huh. Lieutenant General Crane made a shot and quickly jumped up, kicking in the air, flashing towards Chin Luo ghostly. Peach Rabbit, why did you mention this kid blocking a punch? Do you really plan to escape with this pirate for life? Don't you want to return to naval headquarters? Do you want to insist on the justice in your heart? Lieutenant General Crane, the more I talked, the more angry I was, like a shrew. This is the first time that Garp, Gangukong and others have encountered such a scene. Sister. You still know to call my sister. Now I'll give you a chance. Come back or not. Lieutenant General Crane pressed harder and he had already issued an ultimatum. But Tautu was whimpering with tears, her body and mind trembled. His heart was in chaos. Give it to me. Chin Luo felt Tautu's trembling body and couldn't bear to say. Lore. Wolf. Tautu felt the man's strong arms behind him, startled in a daze. Seeing the familiar figure, the strength of his heart was fragmented, his beautiful eyes were instantly moisturized, and he started to cry weakly. Although Tautu often describes Chin Luo that way, but nowadays, the word, languor, has no derogatory meaning at all. Chin Luo hugs the Peach Rabbit with his right hand, his body flashes ghostly and his movements are not weaker than those of Marine 6 styles. Little ghost, let go of Tautu. Seeing that Tautu had been determined to follow Chin Luo, Lieutenant General Crane was immediately furious and planned to bring Tautu back with tough methods. Lieutenant General Crane, Tautu has just decided, are you blind? Decision. When did you make the decision? He smiled irritably and walked quickly, aggressively. When you just punched me, she had already made a decision. She decided to go back to naval headquarters. Fart. Hearing this, Lieutenant General he scolded in anger. Chapter 113. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Lieutenant General Crane was full of anger, completely opposite to the usual calmness. There has been an earth-shaking change. Tempest kick. Lieutenant General Crane flickered, hung his foot upside down, and kicked Chin Luo towards the left side of Chin Luo's head. Repulsion. The cone of God. Chin Luo said nothing. The repulsive force was directly condensed in the air, his head was very sharp, and it pierced directly towards Lieutenant General Crane's hong. Lieutenant General Crane kicked Chin Luo's shoulder and was about to continue his attack. Suddenly he realized the strong crisis and turned his whole body over and retreated to the back. Iron body. Seeing that he couldn't avoid it, Lieutenant Crane turned the front of Hungarian directly into black, stabbing him up with a clang. Boom. There was a dull sound, and Lieutenant Crane was rushed out by a strong repulsion, but she was not seriously injured. Crane, for Tautu's face, I won't kill you, you can go away. Chin Luo said with a quiet gaze. Lieutenant Crane clutched Hungarian's mouth, was caught by the steel skeleton, and returned directly to the battleship. Chin Luo understands that Lieutenant Crane cannot be hurt. If there is no such relationship as the Peach and Rabbit, Chin Luo will definitely make a move. At will, his men are merciful, otherwise, the Lieutenant General Crane at the moment has been unconscious 490, how can he stand on the battleship? Sister is okay. Tautu's heart tightened. Although she is no longer a Marine, this does not mean that she has no emotion with Lieutenant General Crane. Don't worry, I'm being merciful. Chin Luo comforted Tautu, and at the same time, her right hand held Tautu's waist tightly again, looking from a distance, it was as if Tautu was lying in Qin Luo's arms. At this moment, the T-Dolphin saw the position of Qin Luo's right hand, the expression on his face suddenly became stiff, and then it turned into an erupting volcano, the blue veins on his forehead burst up, and the temples on both sides jumped suddenly, giving a furious appearance. Advertisement. Let go of Miss Tautu. You scumbag. Seeing Qin Luo's right hand hugging Tautu's soft waist, Cha Dolphin killed him in a rage. Shave. Moonwalk. Tempest kick. The wretched face of the T-Dolphin was extremely gloomy, and this scene made him so angry that the three corpses were furious. Tautu is the goddess in his mind, but now, his goddess is in the arms of a dead opponent, letting it go. This picture is extremely impactful. Asshole. T-Dolphin's eyes flashed with a strong glow, his face flushed with anger, gritted his teeth at Qin Luo, hatred to the extreme. He was full of murderous intent all over his body, and he snarled at Qin Luo in a low voice. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Put down Miss Tautu. You rubbish. The T-Dolphin has a hideous expression and a fierce light in his eyes. With a punch, the air in front of him burst directly, and the sound of a low explosion resounded across the sky. The sudden appearance of the figure also immediately attracted the attention of countless pairs of marine. Go away. Qin Luo didn't hesitate at all. He raised his left hand and directly rose into the wind. In an instant, a giant palm measuring 7 or 8 meters long appeared in front of Qin Luo and slapped away. Boom. The two collided instantly. The punch of the T-Dolphin is like carrying the power of a mountain, and the surrounding seawater is directly broken under the power of his punch. The heavy light of the fist is like a mountain, and it is as fast as the thunder of Qin Luo. The giant palms touched together. Advertisement. Boom. Incomparable violent fluctuations swept across, the space shook, and the figure of the T-Dolphin was directly shot and flew out by Qin Luo's huge palm. Wow. The T-Dolphin spurted out blood, and the whole person fell like a kite with a broken line. The ghost spider's complexion became cold, and she rushed directly up with her hands directly against the T-Dolphin. The huge impact force immediately rushed into the ghost spider body along the arm, the ghost spider grumbled, and the body flew out uncontrollably. In the end, both of them slammed on the deck, and the deck broke apart in an instant. Come. The T-Dolphin fainted directly by the shock. Qin Luo didn't have any extra energy left. For his rivals, how easy can he make a move? Qin Luo. Seeing this, the empty teeth of steel bones are important, and the iron fist is clenched. What are you doing? Qin Luo raised his eyelids, unmoved. At this moment, Charmako's sanity recovered, and his arrogant attitude was restored again, as if he had forgotten the painful lessons he had experienced in the black hole. Gang Bone Kong. Kill this stuff for me, dare to imprison this saint. Hurry up and kill him. Charmako Saint roared in disgust, his eyes were scarlet, like crazy. My lord. Gang Gukong lowered his head. What are you doing in a daze? You naval headquarters, can't you catch this damn bastard? Get me catch him. I want to ravage him well. I want him to live better than die. Roar. His eyes are bitter and resentful, and his face is hideous and terrifying. Under the protection of the backbone of naval headquarters, Charmako Saint believed that he would never have an accident, so he roared with confidence. Can you say that again? Qin Luo frowned when he heard the words, and swept away a pair of cold eyes. Suddenly Charma K. Shengru fell into the ice cellar, cold all over, hiding directly behind Gangukong, timidly said, You are dead. When I catch you, I will torture you to death. Advertisement. Qin Luo sneered, his eyes turned blood red, directly becoming Mangekyo Sharingan. Amaterasu. Tong Wei showed that, all of a sudden, Charmako Saint's body was directly surrounded by black fire, and it burned quickly. What? Feeling the severe pain in his body, Charmako's hideous face suddenly twisted into a ball, lying on the ground miserably and rolling, and the black flame was burning like a sacred fire. Gangu Kong noticed the change and turned around to look at it. And a Marine Brigadier General quickly took out a bucket and slammed it on Saint Charmako. Strangely, when the water hit the black fire, instead of extinguishing the black fire, the water burned. What? The hollow pupils of the steel bone shrank, and this scene was extremely weird. What kind of fire is this? Save people. Save people. Freezing time. Kuzan's face was cold storage, and his hands sprayed with air conditioning, and instantly, Charmako Saint was completely frozen. And the black fire still failed to extinguish, burning quickly. Help me. Help. Charmako Saint frantically asked for help. Slowly, his whole body was swept by black fire, and in an instant, he turned to fly ash. The sound stopped abruptly. After burning, the black fire was not extinguished, it continued to burn, and the ice was completely burned. After that, the black fire rushed out and spread rapidly. The entire deck was pierced by black flames, and the entire battleship burned frantically. Chapter 114. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Charma is Saint. Dead. After turning into flying ash, Gangukong and others were horrified, but the black flames continued to spread wildly, and they had no time to anger celestial dragons being killed. On the battleship at this moment, there is already a mess. Fire! Fire! Where's the water? Go find water. The water can be used as an egg, don't you see that the water is burning? Kuzan's expression was solemn, and his hands spurted out cold air, trying to prevent the black fire from burning. Ice. Stormy Pheasant's mouth. Suddenly, Kuzan gathered the cold air on his right arm and released an ice bird with a powerful impact, freezing everything he went to. But under such a cold temperature, the black inflammation still didn't go out, it was burning crazily, and immediately, under everyone's dumbfounded, Hyan burned all the ice. What kind of flame is this? Abandon the ship. Abandon the ship. Marshal. Below is the sea. There is no place to stand at all. A Marine Major General looked anxious and panicked. Damn it! Gangukong shouted violently, then looked at Kuzan. Kuzan, leave it to you. Upon receiving the order, Kuzan nodded intently, and immediately performed, shave. In an instant, Kuzan's figure had rushed to the surface, his body was hanging upside down, the marine justice cloak was fluttering in the wind, and his hands were madly cold. Ice Age. With a low groan, endless cold air was released from Aokiji's whole body. This was Aokiji's nirvana. This cold air spread out against the sea breeze, and after touching the water surface, starting from the place where the arm touched, it quickly froze the entire sea surface. Click, click, click. The waves rushed up and instantly frozen into ice. From a few meters of ice, it spread rapidly on the sea. In just 10 seconds, the entire magnificent sea, a radius of 1,000 meters, was completely frozen in an instant, and the top of the wave turned into an ice sculpture. The depth is hundreds of meters, this is a huge block of ice. Advertisement. Although not as large as Qin Luo's original meteorite, the fruit's ability is also terrifying. Marshal. Kuzan yelled directly after he had set his footing. All members, abandon the ship. With an order from the Marshal's steel, the densely packed marine, like dumplings, all jumped off the boat and landed on the ice. The warships in the rear were quickly burned out. After burning, Qin Luo's pupils returned to normal. Qin Luo. The black flame extinguished, the steel bone's face was blue, the veins violent, and he could no longer conceal the anger in his heart. Do it. Gangukong's eyes immediately flashed with strong spirits, full of murderous intent. Armed color hardened. Tempest kick. Suddenly, the steel-boned empty figure rushed to Qin Luo, kicked it, and between the hands, a violent wave of fluctuations spread out in an instant. Garp also pulled out, his body jumped up, and the oversized iron ball was lifted by him and hit it directly. Qin Luo sneered again and again, his left hand clenched into a fist, and under everyone's eyes, he slammed a fist on the oversized iron ball. Boom. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The iron ball made a violent noise, and then the whole iron ball was bounced out. At the same time, Kuzan stretched his hands forward, and two sharp ice spears formed directly. The ice. Two thorn spears. With a low groan, two spears exuding cold light stabbed Qin Luo frantically. Qin Luo's figure flickered, avoiding one of them directly at a tricky angle. Immediately afterwards, another spear shot out. Unable to dodge, Qin Luo kicked it over. Boom. At the moment of contact, the cold air above the ice spear suddenly climbed, instantly freezing Qin Luo's right leg. Advertisement. Catch it. Kuzan exclaimed, and the steel frame bullied himself up. A tempest kick kicked it. Ah. Qin Luo sneered and shook his right leg. The ice that had frozen Qin Luo's right leg burst into pieces. Dignified naval headquarters, deceive more and less, and spread it out, will you not be ridiculed by others? Qin Luo smashed the steel-bonded foot with a punch and sneered while standing still. Shame. You, as a pirate, did evil, and you should have been caught by Marine. Even if you bullied less, it was for the common people of the world. Sakazuki's face was pale, and he had recovered a little at this moment, standing on the ice. Cold road. Sakazuki, is there any place for you to speak here? Humph. At this moment, a cold snort sounded, and Akainu stepped out, raised his right hand high and turned into lava, and the next moment, he hit Qin Luo with a punch. Spitfire. Boom. As if it was a volcanic eruption, the huge lava condensed into a huge fist, devouring Qin Luo. A strong lava fire fist was smashed out, and water vapor continuously emerged on the ice, instantly evaporating half a meter of ice. Qin Luo's gaze was like a torch, and with a move with his left hand, the shield of repulsion emerged. Although Qin Luo is not afraid of this large fire-breathing area, Taodu can't resist it. Boom. The huge burning lava touched the void and suddenly stagnated, making it difficult to enter. Directly resisted by the invisible shield. Qin Luo sneered again and again, and instantly soared up with Taodu and rushed into the sky. Artillery. Gangukong gave an order, and all the warships were on standby, spewing cannonballs frantically. And Garp, also raised an oversized cannonball, and threw it towards Qin-Luo in the sky. Advertisement. Fist Bones Meteorite. Sakazuki was cold and raised his fists. Meteor Volcano. Boom. 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 With countless cannonballs and lava fists, Qin-Luo's left hand grew in an instant, full of meters in front of him, and his giant palm covered the sky, but Qin-Luo's body was as small as an ant. Get out of here. Qin-Luo shot it out with a palm. In an instant, countless cannonballs and lava boulders fell down with a roar. Some shells exploded in the air, and more, they followed the lava boulders to the battleship. Gangbone Kong, Garp, Sengoku, Pelusolino, Sakazuki and others looked horrified, flashed out quickly, and kicked the shells out. But the densely packed shells were overwhelming, and there was no time to resist. Most of the shells fell quickly, hitting the battleship and exploded directly. Boom. 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 The sky is roaring, the sea is rolling, and the sea is suddenly full of flames, and countless screams are endless. Help. What? Boom. Countless warships were turned into dust in the shells, and the flames rose and became a sea of flames. Damn it. Kuzan. Steel Bone's face was pale, and roared. When Kuzan heard the words, cold air rose from his hands, spraying it towards the burning battleship. In an instant, the surrounding flames went out, and the battleship was completely frozen into ice. Chapter 115. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The flames extinguished and there was a mess on the ice. The wreckage of countless warships was shattered, and the debris was all over the ground, and it was impossible to continue sailing. In a short period of 10 seconds, nearly 10 ships were scrapped. The crew of naval headquarters suffered countless deaths and injuries. Moonwalk. The steel bone empty figure is ghostly, soaring into the sky. Porcelino stretched out his fingers, put his index and middle fingers together, and pointed at Qin-Luo above the sky. Laser rays. A brilliant golden light shot out from the fingertips, and suddenly, it had bombarded Qin-Luo in the sky. With a loud bang, the laser beam exploded directly 1 meter outside Qin-Luo. Qin-Luo repelled all the damage. Huh, can light be blocked? Pelusolino raised his head in astonishment, raised his eyebrows, and turned into a photonic fluid, soaring up into the sky. At the same time, Aokiji used Moonwalk, which also jumped up. Immediately afterwards, Sakazuki ejected a fist of lava, standing on top of his fist, and being carried into the sky by inertia. Then, Garp followed closely, and 2 martial-level powerhouses, 3 Logia demon fruit power, quickly approached Qin-Luo. The remaining Sengoku, Zephyr, stared at the sky with cold eyes. As long as there is any change, they will take action. Gangbone Kong. This is what you Marine calls justice. Do more to deceive less. Boy, you arrested my Admiral of Headquarters, killed my Marine staff, and killed Lord Celestial Dragons. I shouldn't have arrested you. Gangukong's face was gloomy. Indeed, their naval headquarters deceived too much. This it will lose face when it is spread out. But as long as Qin-Luo is caught, the news will not be spread, and others will not know that Marine has done this kind of deception. Marshal, don't talk nonsense with him. Let him taunt more and deceive less now. Only the mentally weak can do this. The truth, only the strong have the right to write. Sakazuki coldly said, his whole body whistling. Come. It's the strong to beat the weak with the weak. Hey, it's naval headquarters that doesn't lose. As always, shameless. Qin-Luo sneered, and then flew high into the sky. Advertisement. Qin-Luo, you can't escape. Surrender obediently. Today, you have only 1 death. The top strength of the 5 naval headquarters is like a rainbow. Qin-Luo closed his eyes immediately and used the full power of the Overlord of the Sea. For the safety of Taodu, Qin-Luo put Taodu in the system space to play with Nine-Tails Demon Fox. At this moment, above the sky, he is the only one. He lifted his head lightly, naturally stretched out his hands, raised his head to the sky, and a mighty force radiated from him. The sky, which was originally clear and clear, suddenly became dark, and the huge white cloud layer quickly turned into a dark cloud like a face. Above the sky, endless dark clouds are densely covered, the clouds are extremely thick, and they condensed in a short time. The dark clouds rolled violently, as if there was no end. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. At the same time, violent winds swept across the sea, causing violent tornadoes. The tornado is soaring rapidly, and in an instant, it sucks the sea water into the sky, forming a series of majestic waterspouts. The waterspout continues the world, roaring freely on the sea, soaring, as if sweeping the sky down. Roar. Qin-Luo opened his mouth and let out a power like a master. The sea kings in the depths of the sea, as if being summoned, swam frantically towards the top. The sea water tumbling, a large area of sea water was washed up into the sky by a violent energy, and the huge water column slammed on the battleship like a giant pillar, and the battleship that was hit suddenly shattered and kept swaying. The sea shook, and the surrounding ice shook violently in an instant. Click, click, click. Above the ice, a series of fine cracks appeared, as if something was madly colliding below. Advertisement. Damn it. What kind of power is this? Able to call the wind and call the rain. Control the weather. Must be a Logia ability. If he is Logia, why wouldn't he be afraid of armament hockey? Gangukong. Several people talked quickly. At the same time, all the marines below were caught in a panic. In the face of natural disasters, they had no room to fight back. This is the battle of the strong above Admiral, their cannon fodder is of no use at all. The wind was howling and the waves were overwhelming. A stream of rapids splashed, and the gallop roared against the battleship. Suddenly, countless warships could not stabilize their hulls. Let down the sail. Sengoku used moonwalk to prance up, and his body's influence was overwhelming. Quick, put down the sails, otherwise our boat will be blown over. Let down the sail. Under the squally wind and rapids, sailing this is killing me. Listen to Admiral's orders. After the captains heard Admiral's warning, they moved quickly and suddenly, countless sails fell, the force on the ship was much smaller, and the degree of shaking was greatly reduced. At the same time, countless sea tornadoes have been soaring in the wind, turning into tornadoes of extinction, swept across the huge and amazing sea, and rushed into it. At this moment, Gangukong's face changed in shock, looking at the sea tornado that penetrated the sky and the earth, his face was extremely embarrassed. Sakazuki. Kuzan. Give the sea dragon roll to you too. Yes, Marshal. The two nodded in agreement, and their figures disappeared instantly. Advertisement. Ice Age. Kuzan used moonwalk and came to the sea tornado, facing the monstrous mighty force. Kuzan's expression was calm. The cloak of justice danced wildly. Kuzan lifted his hands lightly, and the explosion of cold suddenly burst out, instantly freezing the bottom of the sea tornado, and the cold was madly swept over the sky by the sea tornado. In just 10 seconds, the tornado that was roaring and angry was suddenly frozen into an Optimus icicle. Spitfire. Not to be outdone, Sakazuki roared. His right fist was like a volcano, the lava was spit out frantically, the surrounding temperature rose rapidly, and the surrounding waves were all evaporated instantly. Boom. The hundreds of meters long lava fire fist 2.2 pierced directly through the bottom of the sea tornado, as if drawing from the bottom of a cauldron, cutting off the water's source. As Sakazuki relaxed, the sea tornado quickly moved to the side, trying to gather again. Humph. Sakazuki sneered, the figure quickly backed away, and immediately raised his fists tens of meters away. Meteor volcano. Boom. 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 A series of huge and astonishing lava fists, with the heat wave surging to the sky, continuously shot out from Sakazuki's hands and screamed towards the sea tornado. Boom. 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 The violent collision sounded across the sea, and countless white gas immediately rose from the sea tornado. The invincible sea tornado also bounced under Sakazuki's lava fist, and the sea poured down and rushed into the lava. On the fist, the sizzling voice kept ringing. Chapter 116. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The violent lava fist, like a volcanic eruption, kept blasting from Sakazuki's body. Wherever the terrifying fire fist swept through, tens of thousands of tons of seawater were all turned into ashes, evaporating out of thin air, and after penetrating the sea tornado, the fist of magma swooped into the deep sea under the heat, and the surrounding temperature rose rapidly. In an instant, this sea area boiled, the gurgling was dyed crimson, a large amount of water vapor filled out, and the weak sea kings in the sea turned upside down to death. On the other side, a dozen Optimus icicles appeared in front of Kuzan. In a blink of an eye, the two resisted all the waterspouts. Oh, Lieutenant General Sakazuki. Lieutenant General Kuzan. So strong. Great. I resisted it. In the surrounding waters, the panicked Marines saw the extinct sea tornado being resisted by the two people, and everyone shouted in excitement. Above the void, Shin Luo looked down below. The three of them were still in hot pursuit, and the steel skeleton drew out. One stroke was prodded by finger pistol covered by armament hockey, and on the other side, Garp's iron fist also slammed down from Shin Luo's head. 12 at the same time, Pelusolino turned into a photonic fluid, deceiving him to reach Shin Luo. Immediately, the photonic fluid condensed into a human form, and Kizaru kicked it sideways. Kick at the speed of light. Ah! Shin Luo sneered, turned his body upside down, and stood upside down. Then, when his left leg was raised, his leg work exploded, and he displayed a strong kick. The power was as heavy as a mountain, and it slammed into Garp's punch for an instant. Garp was kicked back quickly. At this moment, the hollow finger pistol came in astonishment and poked Shin Luo into Shin Luo's chamber. Shin Luo's eyes were cold. After feeling the crisis, an overbearing and fierce force erupted from his body, his 5 fingers clenched into a fist, and one fist blasted towards the steel bone, and the air exploded. The space is shattered. Advertisement. Boom. During the collision, there was a slight clicking sound on Gangukong's fingers, causing his pupils to shrink and quickly retreat. Before it was over, Kizaru's golden shining legs swept behind him. Qin Luo retreated, and avoided directly and skillfully. Whoosh! Kizaru couldn't help but froze for a moment. It was the first time that Kizaru could dodge his light speed kick so easily. Moreover, under the two tyrannical strikes, he avoided his light speed kick. A martial level opponent like Garp is a bit difficult to deal with his light speed kick, and can only use iron body to resist. It is impossible to avoid it, but Qin Luo is so easy. The difference between resistance and avoidance is totally earth-shaking. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. In other words, Qin Luo's speed is almost the same as the speed of light. Damn it, I don't believe it. Both sharp and decisive light speed kicks were so lightly avoided by Qin Luo. Kizaru suddenly became angry and yelled furiously. Then, the whole person turned into a photon. Bakichang Guyu. In the dark sky, a golden figure suddenly flashed out. Immediately, this beam of light was like the sun, blasting out incomparably dazzling light bullets, hundreds of thousands, densely packed, pouring towards the figure in the sky. Boom boom boom. Kizaru's 8-foot jade is similar in nature to Sakazuki's meteor volcano, and both belong to a wide range of attacks. At this moment, the photon fluid is like a sharp sword, shooting at the three people in the sky. Advertisement. Indiscriminate attack. Damn it. Gangbone Kong and Garp's complexion changed. This poor Salino's 8-foot Chong Guyu was almost to death. With such a large area, even if they could only temporarily avoid their sharp edges. Moonwalk. The two of them performed at the same time. Their bodies retreated rapidly, but at a fast speed. They were also fragile in front of the speed of light. In an instant, countless channels of photon fluid had rushed to the three of them. Iron body. Armed color hardened. Unprepared. They were wrapped in armament hockey in front of them, and, just in case, they also used one of the Marine 6 style's iron body. See how you escape. Kizaru was confident and swept to Qin Luo with cold eyes. Escape. Why should I escape? Qin Luo raised his right hand, chuckled, and immediately, a black hole was condensed. As soon as the black hole came out, the place seemed to be distorted, and the light speed particles that had been going straight to the black hole also experienced twists and turns under the terrifying and boundless absorption of the black hole. Subsequently, the light speed particles lacing towards Qin Luo were completely absorbed into the black hole. The rest of the light bullets were shot at the dark clouds, with a few loud bangs, and the thick clouds exploded a big hole. In an instant, a gap appeared, but within a few seconds, several gaps were filled again. Damn it! Kizaru gritted his teeth angrily when he saw this scene. Hey, Kizaru, don't think that photon fluid can only be restrained by armament hockey. Although I don't know armament hockey, I have a way to deal with Logia abilities. Qin Luo raised his eyes and said calmly. The Logia-capable person has no strength to fight back in front of Qin Luo. It is the father who beats his son, hangs and beats. Advertisement. Humph. The photon fluid condenses into a human form, and Kizaru can't help groaning. His 140 indiscriminate attack originally wanted Qin Luo the most painful, but in the end, the uncomfortable was the steel bone hollow and Garp. Close. Qin Luo smiled lightly, and immediately the black hole in front of him disappeared, and the surrounding space slowly stabilized. The four figures in the sky fell into silence. Gangbone Konghe and Garp's face paled a little, and it was obvious that he was somewhat exhausted by Kizaru's move just now. Stop playing with you. Thunder. Qin Luo whispered. The surrounding temperature dropped rapidly, and then the entire cloud layer flipped rapidly, and suddenly, a thunder that pierced through the sky suddenly across the sky. Crack. The thrilling lightning shone a kilometer in a radius like day, and the sound resounded through the world, like the end of the world. A thunderstorm struck by, and the clouds violently bumped up. As if a chain reaction, the clouds reacted violently, as if they were constantly tumbling like boiling water. The first way, the second way, the third way, the fourth way. Dense, earth-shaking huge lightning several meters long and wide is howling down. Towards Garp, the steel skeleton was hollow, and Pelusolino slashed away. Qin Luo stood under the clouds, his hair was blown away by the wind, and the whole person was like a master. You guys have done enough. Now it's time for me to fight back. Chapter 117. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. A flash of lightning lit up from the sky, tearing apart the dark sky, winding down like a snake like a dragon. With the light of the lightning, you can see the shocked Marines on the sea. Countless Marines quietly took a breath in their hearts. Everything today is not done by humans at all. Control the weather. Storm and thunder. Is that human being? At this time, all the Marines on the battleship had doubts in their hearts, and a sense of powerlessness rose from their hearts. This person is so strong. His strength is comparable to that of Luyun, the mysterious man. I feel that Qin Luo is more terrifying than Luyun. Control the wind and cloud, master the thunder and lightning. And not afraid of the sea, this is completely beyond all. The Marines on the battleship murmured to themselves, stunned by Qin Luo's earth-shaking power. Steel, Garp, Pelusilino, have you tasted of being chopped? Shin Luo looked down at the entire void, looked at everything in front of him invincibly, and suddenly shouted. Thunder. Suddenly, the void gave birth to electricity, and the thunder exploded. Shin Luo held the thunder and lightning. Like a god, the heroic figure was attracting attention. For a moment, Shin Luo became the focus of the sea. Under the dark night sky, a figure controls the thunder and lightning, and the void is reflected into the day. Shin Luo held the thunderbolt and threw it violently. Boom. There was a thunderbolt in the clear sky, and a bolt of lightning stretched out from Shin Luo's hands, winding and rugged like a snake in the air, blasting towards Pelusilino, who was full of shock. Advertisement. Damn it. What kind of power is this? Poor Salino was sweating from behind, and his thoughts were flying, and his body once again turned into photonic fluid before the thunder struck. Crack. The thunder passed by, and the sound of thunder swept out like invisible waves. The entire void suddenly shook, and the surrounding air burst, and finally hit the photon fluid. After the lightning passed, the photon fluid once again converged into a human form. Pelusilino's face was pale, his chest was hit, and a burst of blood shot out. At this moment, Pelusilino's hair was electrically vertical, and his hands were black and gray. Boy, the response is good. Shin Luo sneered, and then another thunder came in his hand quickly. Again, Pelusilino was dumbfounded, with great fear in his heart, and in the panic he turned directly into a photon fluid and quickly escaped. Oh, scared. Shin Luo's eyes were deep, and he sneered at the fleeing figure of Pelusilino. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Repulsion. God's light arrow. Strangely, the void twisted with a needle to form a bow. Shin Luo shrank his left hand, and an invisible arrow suddenly turned out, and the surrounding space faintly trembled. Under the thunder of thunder, Shin Luo's left hand loosened. Whoosh! The arrows roared across the sky, and the surrounding air suddenly stagnated, bringing a thrilling white wave and shooting out. A huge shock wave of terrifying boundlessness burst out, rolling towards the mighty surroundings. Garp looked surprised and yelled at Pelusilino, "Be careful." As soon as Garp was reminded, Pelusilino felt a strong crisis, and his scalp numb, turning into photonic fluid again, trying to avoid the arrow. Boom! The arrow of the god shot away, quietly exploding beside the photon fluid, roaring loudly. Advertisement. Boom! The photon fluid was immediately dissipated by the strong explosion sound, and those photons condensed again. Pelusilino spurted blood, and the whole body fell dripping with blood. At this moment, Kuzan saw Pelusilino's falling figure, hanging upside down, an icicle against the ground, while Kuzan soared up under the force of interaction. Soon he hugged Pelusilino and used Moonwalk to quickly land. After finishing Pelusilino, Shin Luo turned his gaze to Zephyr, the steel hollow heel. Looking at the two indifferently, Shin Luo immediately grasped the thunder with both hands, and sneered, "You two also taste the taste of thunder." Damn it! Garp condensed his gaze, his expression drastically changed, his body flickered ghostly, and he left the place. Seeing this, the steel bones can only temporarily avoid the edge, and use Moonwalk to rush down quickly. Want to escape? Shin Luo's eyes were sharp, and his hands were thrown fiercely. Suddenly, dozens of thunderbolts exploded in the void like brilliant fireworks. A few more, chasing straight away. Marshall. Dodge. Garp was sweating from behind and kicked at the steel. Boom. Between the two collisions, a huge repulsive force formed, with the help of the reaction force to avoid the thunder blow dangerously and dangerously. Call. Garp lay violently ups and downs, cold sweat on his forehead. The person in front of him is simply a monster, he is not an opponent at all. In the face of the mighty power of nature, human beings are so fragile and insignificant. Gang Gukong looked at each other and quickly descended. In the blink of an eye, he had fallen to the ground, and then used Moonwalk to offset the attraction of the earth. The two fell on the ground calmly, and then looked up at the sky with lingering fears. Advertisement. Countless Marines around were dumbfounded, looking at the godlike figure above the sky. Heart trembling again and again. Is this still human? In this world, when has there been such a strong man? Even the Marshal and Admiral can't fight together. How strong is this person? With the joint hands of so many powerful people, it is still possible to beat the Marshal and others so embarrassed. This is even scarier than Whitebeard. Gang Bone Kong's face was pale. If he hadn't escaped quickly, he would definitely be blasted into slag by thunder. It's tricky. Garp stared at the sky, unable to think of a solution. Now we are on the ground, much safer than above. Look at what other moves he has. Invincible in the sky does not mean that he is equally invincible on the ground. Admiral said a few words, all comforting each other. Shin Luo heard the voice below clearly, and in an instant, Shin Luo's figure disappeared from everyone's eyes. Where did you go? Damn it. What about people? I was still in the sky just now, why didn't I lose my effort in the blink of an eye? Everyone's pupils shrank, and their hearts were extremely uneasy. At this moment, Qin Luo used the Sea Lord's ability to melt water and instantly appeared in front of Gang Gukong. Gang Bone Kong. Don't think that you are safe if you escape. I am invincible in the sky, and on the ground. I am equally invincible. What? Gang Gukong saw Qin Luo's figure, and his heart suddenly frightened. Chapter 118. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The sea was flooding, and the surrounding seas were extremely chaotic. Those warships swayed in the wind and almost turned over. BWGB. B. What happened? Sengoku stared darkly and shouted. Suffering from a sudden change, everyone's eyes were extremely dignified, and dozens of people's observation haki were released outside, heading toward the deep sea for exploration. The perceptions of countless avenues interlaced and scattered, and suddenly, those people's complexion became stiff and their expressions panicked. Under the investigation, their fleet was completely surrounded unknowingly. Under the warship, it was unknown how many huge sea kings were hidden. At this moment, they seemed to be mad, carrying huge boundless sea water, directly hitting the ice surface, and in an instant, the ice layer several hundred meters deep was torn apart. How come there are so many sea kings? Lieutenant Crane's eyes widened and shocked. Our battleship is equipped with sea stones, how do they perceive us? Damn it, what's the matter? For a time, on the 70 or 80 warships, people were panicked, and some marines stood on the side of the ship in a panic, bowing their heads. Directly saw the densely packed huge fishes in the sea. Advertisement. Ship. Captain. The following are sea kings. Huge size. Just before everyone was astonished, the sea in front of the battleship became turbulent, huge sea kings burst out of the sea, huge fish tails slammed in the sea, hundreds of tons of seawater rushed frantically. A warship was extremely distorted directly in front of the vast sea, and the entire hull fell apart. All marines on the battleship abandoned the ship and fled, falling like dumplings. Jump into the sea. For a time, cries for help continued. 1 head, 2 heads, 3 heads. 10 heads, 50 heads. The densely packed sea kings spread all over the field of vision, and each one exudes an aura of horror to the heart's palpitations. Gang Bone Kong, Sengoku, and Garp all have scalp tingling. It is the first time they have seen such a spectacular group of sea kings. The surrounding sea kings have completely surrounded this area, and 70 or 80 warships are difficult to move. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. One of the most massive sea kings is a full kilometer long. The moment this sea king emerges from the water, it directly lifts the sea several hundred meters high, and a small tsunami comes from the surface. In front of sea kings, the warship was like paper, fragile. What? Why do so many sea kings suddenly appear? Gang Gukong's expression changed, and a strong crisis rose in his heart. Qin Luo stood in the void, watching all this indifferently. Rumble, thunder and lightning, wind and rain. Advertisement. Above the sea, the waves were rough and heavy rain poured down. The huge sea kings rushed towards the battleship frantically. Chi launched an attack. Boom, boom. Countless warships swayed constantly in the sea. A few saber-toothed sharks dived under the sea and slammed into the bottom of the warship. This is the bottom of the warship. As long as the bottom is destroyed, the ship will not be able to navigate, and the hull will be scrapped here. The bottom of this warship is seastone. This material will give off the breath of the sea. When ordinary sea kings feel this breath, they will think it is seawater and avoid or ignore it. But today, this seastone has lost its original ability. Countless sea kings came up together and launched a violent attack on the warship. Just as Gang Gukong was about to give an order, suddenly there was a roar from below the warship, and the whole warship shook. The warship thundered and tilted directly as several people pondered. The violent sea water penetrated directly from the bottom of the ship, poured into the warship, and instantly spread out. It's not good, Marshal. The bottom of the boat was bitten, and a lot of seawater poured in. A seaman hurriedly ran up and reported. Hearing the report, Gang Gukong's expression became extremely gloomy, and he called Kuzan directly. Ice Age. Advertisement. Kuzan nodded intently, his hands spurted out of cold air, and the seawater that had swept up was instantly frozen. Suddenly, the entire warship was frozen together with the sea, and even the sea kings below were not spared. Qin Luo looked faintly and said, Kuzan, can you freeze the sea? Can you freeze the 1,000-meter-high tsunami? Hearing this, everyone raised their heads solemnly and looked towards the sky. Qin Luo, what do you want to do? What are you doing? Qin Luo sneered, then casually raised his hand and pointed to the side. All marines turned their heads in surprise, and suddenly a huge tsunami that was as high as a kilometer roared from the sea in the distance. Carrying the earth-shaking power, it is crushed. Everyone's eyes widened, Sakazuki's face was dark, and he jumped onto the battleship and lifted up to the sky. Meteor volcano. In an instant, countless lava giant fists spurted out and smashed into a tsunami that was thousands of meters high. Countless sea water was evaporated. Kuzan also fell on the sea, and his hands kept blowing cold air. The ice surface instantly condensed, and it continued to spread out. The sea area of several hundred meters was instantly frozen, and the 1,000-meter-high tsunami was also wrapped in cold air and frozen. Within a few seconds, everything in front of me turned into a world of ice and snow. Chapter 119. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The huge sea kings in the sea turned into an ice sculpture in the blink of an eye, and then broke into pieces. The originally roaring kilometer tsunami, in the eyes of everyone's astonishment, froze everything. Aokiji was relieved after doing all this. And Qin Luo was not surprised by Aokiji's resistance to the kilometer tsunami. On the contrary, there was a playful smile at the corner of his mouth. Just after freezing, the ice layer thousands of meters in the distance, as if it had been subjected to a huge impact, broke again within a few seconds of condensing into ice. It can't withstand a tsunami that is 1,000 meters high. No way. Gengukong's face was gloomy. Aokiji raised his head slightly in shock, looking at the ice that was shattered in front of the tsunami, feeling complicated. I come. Seeing that Aokiji could not withstand the tsunami, Sakazuki hurriedly withdrew to the front. The squally wind and ocean currents rushed around his body, instantly evaporated by the heat wave on his body. At this moment, Sakazuki stretched out his hands and turned into a fist of lava. A huge fist of lava, hot magma blasted above the kilometer-high tsunami, suddenly breaking the sea water, and steam erupting continuously. Meteor volcano. Ice Age. The two shot at the same time, and the sky was rendered extremely bright. Hundreds of red and white pillars emerged, roaring at the tsunami. Boom. Advertisement. Boom. The flames are overwhelming, and the ice is sweeping. The kilometer tsunami was slowly weakened and offset by the two of them. When it reached the foothold of naval headquarters, it had become a tsunami of tens of meters, and its power was far less powerful than before. But even this tens of meters of tsunami swept away 4 or 5 battleships, dragged them directly down the water, and killed the ship. After the tsunami, the surrounding sea kings suddenly surged out, and the huge body directly hit the battleship and swayed in the deep sea, almost destroying it. Damn it! Who is controlling them? Sengoku's face was pale. Their steel legion was attacked by sea beasts in the deep sea. Moreover, the bottom of their battleship is equipped with sea stone. It must be Qin Luo. Steel Bone Kong gritted his teeth and hummed. It's really troublesome. This kid is not only invincible in the sky, but also incomprehensible on the ground. We didn't have any tricks. Garp spread his hands, feeling the danger for the first time. Hearing the words, his face turned black and blue. He grunted and said coldly, "All Marines above the Lieutenant General, protect the warships of good size, kill all the Sea Kings." As soon as the voice fell, suddenly, an unusually shaped Sea King suddenly sprang out from the bottom of the warship. The Yami cloth, with a sharp mouth, bit towards the warship. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Although the battleship is solid iron, it is not enough to see in front of this huge bite force. It's really troublesome. Aokiji's expression changed, and he shook his head irritably. With Sea King's huge mouth biting down, Aokiji's body shape flashed as usual, and just as Sea King's took a bite, 2 layers of ice suddenly lifted from his hands and plunged directly into Sea King's throat. In an instant, the cold air filled, and the huge Sea Kings with their big mouths turned into an ice sculpture under the ice. Within a few seconds, the ice sculpture smashed into pieces. Advertisement. Huh. Just Sea Kings, dare to do it right with Marine. Sakazuki's face was gloomy, and lava was continuously ejected from his right hand. The dog bites the red lotus. Roar. A giant wolf dog in a huge lava state, this rushing wolf dog, with open fangs, covered in blood, flames swept the world, heat waves roared, and swallowed the Sea Kings below. In an instant, the Sea Kings was burned to ashes. Fighting is happening everywhere. Every warship has at least one lieutenant commanding the battle. In case of emergencies, he will go up and kick a kick. Sometimes, 3 or 4 Sea Kings attack at the same time, and they are suddenly at a loss. Desperate. See how you resist. Naval headquarters, you will die here. Qin Luo stood in the void with cold eyes. At this moment, he was like an arrogant king, looking flat and indifferent at everything in front of him. Raising his right hand, thick thunders slashed down. Suddenly, the dark sky was reflected like daylight, countless thunders smashed down, and countless warships were hit, and most of them were iron warships with abnormal conductivity. Powerful. For a short 10 seconds, Marine standing on the warship was turned upside down by the electric hair, and his face was dark. Some people had already been pierced by the electric and died. Countless roads of thunder spread in the void. Qin Luo is like the master of thunder, mastering the storm. He is God. He is as strong as a god. Go ahead. At this moment, an old man murmured in a low voice, then transformed into a human form on the battleship. This person was wearing a white robe. The old man was smiling, but his face was shining brightly, his side brows were white, his face was clear, his hands and feet were raised with blue veins, his waist was tough, and his eyes were divine. As soon as the old man appeared, the air around him suddenly stagnated. There is a faint feeling of collapse in the space. Advertisement. At the moment the old man appeared, Xin Luo was a little surprised. When he saw the old man clearly, it became clear. This old man is surprisingly one of 5 elders. 0. Hee. It's no wonder Marine is so bold that he dared to fight me. There is a barrier. Xin Luo smiled lightly, not afraid of the arrival of one of the 5 elders. Grown-ups. The old man stood in front of the battleship, and Marine Admiral was headed by the old man all around. The old man ignored Gang Gukong and the others, but stared at the sky, the man in control of everything. Are you Xin Luo? The old man smiled lightly, densely folds, and spoke calmly. Is it one of the 5 elders? Steel. This is what you rely on. Xin Luo smiled lightly. Huh, kid, you can't escape. In front of Lord 5 elders. You don't want to leave today. Really? Xin Luo sneered. At this moment, the old man's figure flashed directly, and he appeared above the void in an instant, and the thick thunder smashed over, and only a slight scorched black appeared on his body, which was to resist the thunder. Haha. No wonder you dare to come out, your body is upgraded. Xin Luo kept sneering. The 5 elders ate the fruits of life, and because of this, the 5 elders had all kinds of abnormal changes. Not only do they have immortality, their bodies have undergone tremendous changes. In the past, Xin Luo didn't know what happened to these 5 old men. However, at this moment, Xin Luo can guess the one in front of him. This old man should be a physical change. Strong as pervert. Chapter 120. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. While everyone was holding their breath and concentrating, the old man's robes rose up suddenly, and then rose into the sky under countless sights. Moonwalk. Whoosh. Although it is also using Marine 6 styles, the speed of the old man is as fast as lightning. It is almost a dump of garp, and the steel frame is empty for dozens of blocks. Even Xin Luo can only hear the old man say a word, and then his figure disappears. Not see. Fast speed. Xin Luo was slightly startled, and immediately an invisible repulsive force spread out quickly, and the surrounding space slowly oscillated, and circles of invisible ripples swept out like sea water. The speed is slow, but the rhythm is very strong. Is it here? Xin Luo felt the abnormal feedback from the fluctuation, opened his eyes, raised the corner of his mouth, and smiled confidently. Finger pistol. The old man came in a flash, his figure was extremely fast, a finger pistol, like a solid iron, quickly poked at Xin Luo. Hey, old man, is the speed fast enough? Xin Luo smiled indifferently at the old man's shocking finger, and threw his fist out. When the iron fist hit the old man's body, the old man from one of the 5 elders sensed that the danger was coming, and he was shocked. His original figure suddenly turned into a dark illusory figure. Advertisement. This is your ability. Xin Luo frowned slightly. It was the first time he had a face-to-face fight with one of the 5 elders, so it was not clear where these 5 old guys had changed. I don't know if it's a blessing in disguise or luck. After eating 1/5 of devil fruit, he is so capable. Outrageously strong, not weaker than Xin Luo's ability to melt water. A punch hit the air, and the void shook open. At the same time, Xin Luo frowned and saw the illusory figure slowly solidify again, turning into the figure of the old man. The old man's forehead was bald, gleaming with a sharp white light under the pitch-black void. Little guy, your abilities are good, you can make me feel dangerous, you are worth $1 billion bounty. The old man chuckled, staring at Xin Luo, and murmured. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Billions. Numbers. I'm not interested in bounty. If you replace 1 billion with devil fruit, I might consider hitting you less. Xin Luo raised his eyelids lightly and believed himself. Arrogant. The old man's eyes were suddenly cold, and a thrilling black aura swept across in an instant, directly surrounding Xin Luo's body. Strangulation technique. With the old man's low drink, those black chi quickly climbed and expanded violently. In an instant, a hideous black dragon turned out. The hard and rugged scales were like iron body, layer by layer wrapped around Xin Luo in an attempt to use a huge. The dragon's body strangled Xin Luo directly. Old man, you have good abilities. Xin Luo was wrapped up, and apart from being a little hot, he didn't feel the slightest pain. Advertisement. Huh. The old man's strangulation technique, even Whitebeard didn't dare to touch it, but with your physical body, can you resist it? The old man was confident and thought that he had captured Xin Luo. Strangulation. The old man shouted in a low voice, and then the entire dark dragon opened its huge mouth, its fangs gleaming with gloomy glow, swallowed away fiercely in the eyes of everyone's expectation. Roar. Long yin 9 days, the aura dispersed. One bite swallowed Xin Luo's head, and the scales on the thick body turned into a long sword, which kept cutting on Xin Luo's body. The old man's strangulation technique can completely fearless to those with Logia ability, even if it turns into fluid, he can never escape. It can be said that this is an old man's confident move, and it is also a fierce killer move. He didn't want to do more useless actions, so he strangled Qin Luo. Boy, die. Don't forget, don't offend the world government when you reborn in your next life. One of the 5 elders has faint eyes and no emotion in his voice. All members of naval headquarters below were shocked. They tried their best to beat one person in 3 or 5 groups, and they were so embarrassed that they were defeated. Unexpectedly, the old man of 5 elders would directly hang Qin Luo to death as soon as he went up. Hi, so strong. Your sire is so strong. Advertisement. One of the 5 elders is so strong. How terrible are the 5? Huh, kid, dare to fight naval headquarters and the government, let's see the situation clearly in the next life. Sakazuki's eyes were gloomy, and he sneered in his heart when he saw one of 5 elders clean up Qin Luo. Dead. Gengukong muttered to himself, staring at the void all the time, he always felt not so light. You died. This is almost everyone's doubts. Under the bite of the illusory dragon, Qin Luo's body is transformed into black crows, croaking out of the dragon's mouth, and then all the black crows are like puzzle pieces. Put them all together and turn into one figure again. What? Not dead. No fear of me strangling technique. The old man was shocked when he saw Qin Luo, who was safe and sound. His ability has been tried and tested, and his ability to deal with Logia is the most suitable, but today, it is in Qin Luo's hands. Lost 3.1. Boy, what is your ability? At the same time, there was an exclamation below. Not dead. Not dead. Escape from the adult's strangling technique. This kid is very tricky. Gengukong's guess is correct. It is a bit of a for granted to want to catch Qin Luo by this means. Damn, he is so strong. It can be so easy in the hands of Master 5 Elders. Sakazuki laughed at Qin Luo's death without a burial place just now. Unexpectedly, after a moment of effort, Qin Luo stood up alive again. There was a Sao movement below, and at this moment, those huge sea kings violently impacted again, no fewer than hundreds of them, and they dared to die with their bodies. Suddenly, the sea roared, and a tsunami hundreds of meters high appeared again, rushing toward the battleship. Chapter 121. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The violent impact force directly caused the warship to sway and falter. The power plant on the battleship has long been destroyed by Sea Kings, and this battleship has nothing to do except sail out. These Sea Kings are really annoying. Damn it. It must be Qin Luo controlling these Sea Kings. Sengokui's face is pale. Their large fleet, under normal circumstances, cannot encounter such a large-scale destruction of Sea Kings, but today is extremely abnormal. It must be Qin Luo's ghost. Although it is not clear how Qin Luo controls it, it must be him. Can control Sea Kings. This kid can not only control wind, rain, thunder and lightning, but also Sea Kings. This is already invincible, okay. Damn, when is there such a ruthless person? The Marines kept cursing and feared Qin Luo to the extreme. Boom. Suddenly, the battleship shook violently, and a deep pit was pushed out of the side of the ship. The entire battleship quickly retreated and hit a ship directly behind it. Bump. The huge 12 impact directly crushed the warship. The originally large warship was suddenly twisted and compressed under the pressure of violent pressure. In just a few seconds, it was no longer in the shape of a ship. The surrounding Marines all overturned and plunged into the deep sea. Sakazuki's face was cold, and he flashed to the side instantly, seeing the huge Sea Kings on the side of the ship, his face extremely blue. Brute. With a loud shout, Sakazuki rushed to Sea Kings with his right hand, and a fiery lava fist blasted away. Boom. Advertisement. The lava fist hit Sea Kings instantly, pierced its chest, and turned into fly ash. Marshal, our ship has been surrounded. All Sea Kings. And the power plant under our battleship is also destroyed. A Marine fled out of the warship in a panic, and said in shock. What? The power unit was destroyed. Damn Qin Luo. The steel bone gritted his teeth, and suddenly waved his sleeves. At the same time, the warship where Gengukong was located was also violently attacked, and the entire ship shook violently. Boom. The steel frame was unstable and almost fell. Damn it. I've had enough. Sakazuki, Kuzan, Pelusolino, kill all the Sea Kings on the spot. Gengukong's face was as cold as water, and he directly gave orders. All 3 of them are Logia-capable people, and their strength is extremely terrifying, and they have a wide range of killer moves. The 3 were called. Xingzi nodded silently, and the cold air on his hands spewed out frantically. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Freezing time. Boom. With a punch, a layer of ice condensed on Sea King's body in the blink of an eye. After that, the ice spread extremely, and the entire Sea Kings was frozen in an instant. Die. Xingji opened his mouth and poured out, and immediately, the frozen Sea Kings turned into powder for a moment and died directly. After that, Xingji looked flatly into the distance, and dozens of Sea Kings were rushing out of the deep sea, stirring up countless waves. Ice storm pheasant mouth. Advertisement. The cold air suddenly condensed. Xingji stretched out his right arm, and released an ice bird more than 10 meters long. The ice bird spread its wings and swooped down, and a loud hiss came from his mouth. Everything I went was frozen. A dozen sea kings, completely covered by ice, can no longer move. Xingzi, freeze everything. Gang Gukong raised his head and stared at the 100-meter tsunami in the distance, giving orders. Xingzi nodded, and then his figure flickered, standing on the dark sea, his hands lowered, and the fruit ability suddenly spurted out. Ice Age. Boom. In an instant, the tsunami that had come from an angry scream instantly turned into profound ice, and the entire sea was frozen. On the other side, Sakazuki looked at the densely packed sea kings and raised his fists. Meteor Volcano. The huge ferocious fist sprayed directly into the void, and when viewed from a distance, it was like a gorgeous firework, colliding against the sky in an instant. Those huge lava fists were suddenly shattered and turned into countless hot stones, falling towards the surface of the sea. Sengoku's eyes were solemn. His face was solemn when he saw such a wide range of attacks, and he jumped directly onto the deck. Big Buddha form. With Sengoku's low drink, his whole body changed tremendously, his muscles suddenly exploded, and he felt shocked. Then, the wind swelled and turned into a giant Buddha more than 10 meters away. The light behind him was invincible. When the lava stone fell and was about to hit the hull of the ship, Sengoku raised both hands. Shockwave. Boom. Advertisement. The huge Buddha's palm smashed straight out, like a compressed cannonball, and a violent shock wave spread rapidly from his hand. The lava that was about to hit the battleship turned into fly ash, into ashes. Garp didn't stop. His body quickly flew out, and the armed tempest kick swept out, suddenly kicking the surrounding lava stones to pieces. The remaining Lieutenant General Marine kept leaping up, busy kicking away the lava boulder that was about to hit the battleship. Pelusolino stood in the middle, searching for the fish that slipped through the net. When he lowered his head and saw a sea kings hitting the warship, he pulled out a finger. Suddenly, golden light filled the finger, and countless A20 rays of light gathered into a single light and suddenly shot out. Laser rays. The golden light was like a sharp sword, pierced through the body of this whale in an instant, and died on the spot. Well, there is still another side. After Pelusolino finished the solution, he frowned slightly, and then his whole body turned into a photon fluid, flashing past. Kick at the speed of light. Boom. Poor Solino hung upside down and kicked directly on Sea King's body. With a kick, Sea Kings let out a miserable howl, and his whole body lost resistance and fell. The sea was fighting in full swing, killing countless Sea Kings, and more Sea Kings popping up, almost endless. For a time, the entire naval headquarters was in a bitter battle. They have no time to watch the war above. At the same time, above the void, Shin Luo stood with his hands behind, countless black crows condensed out of his body, and then slowly opened his eyes. At this moment, under the dark sky, his eyes turned blood red, and Mangekyo Sharingan was opened impressively. Boy, what kind of eyes are you? The old man looked up and was shocked. He had lived for 800 years. This was the first time he had encountered this kind of eyes. Above these eyes, he felt an evil and terrifying power. Do I have to tell you? Shin Luo said indifferently, very arrogant. Chapter 122. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Shin Luo's eyes change without any requirements, let alone harsh conditions. The changes in his eyes are all based on his thoughts. At this moment, everything in the world seemed to be clear by countless times, and he clearly perceives the surging pupil power contained in his eyes. Mangekyo Sharingan. The mysterious black and red color exudes a palpable breath. These eyes have a strong sense of confusion. Just looking at them, they will be weirdly trapped in the pupils and unable to extricate themselves. Humph. The elder of one of the 5 elders had faint eyes. He hummed coldly, and stood still staring at the blood-red eyes. Little devil with sharp teeth, when you die, your eyes will belong to me. The old man's eyes were sharp and his voice was hoarse and strange. It's yours. It's ridiculous. Shin Luo sneered. The old man dared to face Sharingan, who was looking at him. He was really looking for death. Monthly reading. Moon reading is one of the pupil techniques that maximizes the hypnosis eye. The visual illusion technique, the only thing needed is to look at the target person before it can be activated. Happen. One of the 5 elders rammed directly at the muzzle. Suddenly, everything in front of 5 elders turned to darkness. Within his sight, he was completely occupied by the weird blood-red Mangekyo Sharingan. The Mangekyo Sharingan was spinning continuously, and his pupils quickly enlarged. Then, the old man saw his pupils turn into a pale round moon. Suddenly, everything around him changed drastically. When the old man came over, he found himself leaning on a Madara barge that was soaked in blood. Marine screams and fighting sounds all disappeared. Advertisement. In an instant, the world changed. The whole world before the old man's eyes was blood red. Even the moon in the sky is blood red. Damn it, what's the matter? The old man wanted to resist, but found that he couldn't move at all, as if he had been frozen. He couldn't help being horrified. This was the first time this happened. The full moon still hangs on the void in a mysterious manner. Qin Luo, on the other hand, stood in the void with indifferent eyes, staring at him arrogantly. What is your ability? The old man was very surprised and couldn't help but exclaimed and asked. Qin Luo didn't pay attention to him at all. Instead, his figure flashed and appeared directly in front of the old man, a sharp blade condensed directly. Want to kill me? The old man widened his eyes and sneered. Tell you, don't waste your efforts. I am invincible physically, even the world's supreme swordsman 12 jobs. It hurts me nothing. The old man sneered arrogantly, looking at Qin Luo as if looking at an idiot. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. They can't hurt you, doesn't mean I can't. Qin Luo's voice was faint, and the sharp blade in his hand slowly pierced his chest under the old man's contemptuous sight, as if pierced into tofu, with ease. This kind of pain, Qin Luo wants the elderly to experience it slowly. Wow. The old man snorted, and a heart-piercing pain spread directly to his body. As the sharp blade continued to pierce, his chest seemed to be torn apart. Impossible. My physical body is invincible. A rare panic appeared on the old man's face. Invincible. Extremely ridiculous. Qin Luo smiled coldly, and then conjured a sharp blade again, piercing the old man's pupil little by little. Advertisement. Afterwards, the old man screamed bitterly, his eyeballs smashed, splashing blood, and Qin Luo's entire right eye was blinded by Qin Luo. Now, do you still think you are invincible? The old man yelled, trying to get rid of the shackles with all his strength, but in vain in the end. The entire sky was no longer azure blue, but turned into blood red, as if in a sea of blood, and the surrounding atmosphere was extremely weird and gloomy. He was tied to a wooden frame, completely unable to move. Let go of me. What did you do to me? Qin Luo sneered and did not answer at the shocked shout of the old man. Suddenly, another sharp sword turned out, and in the horrified and shocking eyes of the old man, it slowly pierced into his lower body. What? The old man howled in pain, his horrified face suddenly distorted, and his lower body was extremely painful. With a click, he cut off the things he hadn't used for 800 years. I don't die, it's useless for you to use this. It's not an obstacle to the province. Damn kid, don't let me catch you. Otherwise, I will cut you 1,000 times. The old man's eyes were sharp and his body trembled and gritted his teeth. Thank you for your care. In order to repay you, I want to reward you with a sharp edge. The sharp blade slowly pierced into the old man's heart. Suddenly, countless paths of blood burst out crazily, and the clothes were dyed blood red within a few seconds. Boy, you have the ability to kill me. Kill me. Ah, the old man roared furiously, his face full of madness. Kill you. You don't know, there is a saying, is it better to die than life? Devil. You devil. Qin Luo smiled, another sharp sword condensed in his hand, and under the old man's frightened, jealous, and angry eyes, it pierced his throat. Advertisement. In the slightest, Qin Luo even saw the old man's lips trembling lightly, fearing to the extreme. What? A sharp blade pierced the throat, and suddenly, a large amount of blood sprayed from the old man's mouth, dripping down. The red robe that had been stained with blood was completely bloody red. In the end, the old man could only use his own eyes to resent, staring at Qin Luo angrily. Have you ever thought that one day you will be like this? Looking at the old man's spiteful and sinister pupils, Qin Luo laughed slightly. Unfortunately, he couldn't answer Qin Luo's question. The sharp blade exuding cold light directly pierced the other eyeball of the old man. Now, the old man is completely blind. Everything in front of him is pitch black. He can't open his mouth. Only his ears can clearly hear Qin Luo's indifferent laughter and the sound of a sharp blade piercing his body. Gradually, the old man's breath became weaker and he eventually died. Finally dead. Hee, freed, I can finally get rid of this demon. Qin Luo, when I am resurrected, I will cut you thousands of times to vent my hatred. The old man finally died spitefully. Open your eyes. The original ease did not appear. He thought he was indeed dead, but after his resurrection, when he opened his pupils, he turned out to be in this strange world again, and he was also nailed to a wooden frame. What happened? Looking at the man in front of him, the old man was horrified again, his scalp numb. The cold sweat stayed on his back uncontrollably. Chapter 123. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The old man was shocked again and again, thinking that he could get out and come back from the dead, but he did not expect that he would still be trapped in this weird world. What is your ability? A touch of horror appeared on the face of the old man who sensed the safety of his whole body. He was clearly tortured to death by Qin Luo just now. When he was resurrected, he should have appeared in the original world government. Why was he here uncontrollably? Resurrection. Death was real, He felt a strong pain, it was not a dream. And can have such ability. There are only two possibilities. First, he was really killed. After death, he was subject to certain restrictions. With the fruit of life, he was resurrected again and did not leave here. Second, he didn't really die, he just seemed to be dead, but in fact, he was in an infinite dream, like a dream. Thinking of this, the old man from one of the five elders calmed down, slightly pale on his wrinkled face. He leaned down and looked at his safety. The tragic scene just disappeared. Although it was missing, it did not mean that the old man was not afraid. During this period, he couldn't help but sweat. Death is so clear, if he was in a dream just now, he is awake at this moment. Or is it still in a dream now? This kind of infinite loop is the first time that the old 493 encounters. Even dreaming doesn't have such a clear feeling, being able to think so clearly. Boy, what did you do to me? You came back from the dead. The old man was very angry, his fists clenched. Advertisement. Oh, can you remember the picture just now? Qin Luo murmured, a little surprised. Originally in the moon reading space, after the person being manipulated died completely, that part of the memory would be lost. The old man only remembered that he was indeed pierced through. Unexpectedly, the old man not only guarantees that his memory is not confused, but also recalls the scene just now. System, can monthly reading be like this? Ding dong, host uses perfect monthly reading. You can rely on your own thoughts to make him feel fear, and the clearest fear is to make him fear in the death just now. In this way, the shadow in his heart, the area will grow exponentially, constantly torturing his soul, make him collapse. So that's the case. Qin Luo nodded lightly. Unexpectedly, this month's reading space could still be like this. Boy, where am I? The old man's face was pale, and his eyes were gritted with teeth. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. This is the monthly reading space. Qin Luo stood beside the old man, stretched out his right hand, and suddenly, a sharp blade exuding cold light appeared in his palm. Moonreading space. The old man's pupils shrank slightly, and the whole person felt a sense of fear that a catastrophe was imminent. His cloudy eyes looked at the sharp blade in terror, and his heart beat wildly. In the world of monthly reading, no matter it is time, space, quality, etc., everything is completely controlled by me. Even your life and death are under my control. I let you live, you can't die, I let you die. You must never give birth. What? The old man was stunned. This was the first time the old man encountered this ability to manipulate other people. When did you perform this technique? The old man drew his face and raised his head in fear, his eyes full of bloodshot eyes. When? This is not something you can ask. Qin Luo sneered at the doctor, and then slowly pierced the old man's chest with a sharp blade, and immediately, blood surged. This time the pain was more than 10 times stronger by Qin Luo. Advertisement. Qin Luo's Scarlet Mangekyo Sharingan kept zooming in front of the old man's eyes, and the strange pupils felt an indescribable weirdness. The old man's face was distorted, the whole person was curled up, his heart was pierced again, and the heart-piercing pain swept through his body madly. Ah! The old man let out a scream, and then his body twitched abruptly to endure it, his forehead burst out with cold sweat, his bloodshot eyes stared at Qin Luo firmly, and said word by word, "You bastard. I escape, I will never let you go. Won't let me go. In that case, I should give you a taste of it." Qin Luo sneered, his face resembling a demon, making the old man tremble all over. No, no. The old man of 5 elders is strong, he is also a flesh and blood body. In this month reading space, Qin Luo is the master, no one can break his illusion, unless Qin Luo stops by himself, the old man only by waking up from the illusion of infinite reincarnation. However, by that time, Qin Luo may have already tortured the old man to death. At this moment, Qin Luo slowly pierced a sharp blade amidst the horror and roar of the old man. Wow! The old man burst out with a mouthful of blood, his face paled to the extreme, and his breath wilted in an instant. Then, Qin Luo flipped his palm, and another sharp blade penetrated the old man's back. What? Suddenly, the old man widened his eyes and opened his mouth. The intense pain made his whole body tremble. You bastard! Have the ability to kill me. You killed me. Kill you. It's cheaper to kill you. I want you to die. Qin Luo smiled evilly and stabbed the old man again. Advertisement. 10 times. Qin Luo couldn't help muttering to himself as he looked at the dead old man. After expanding the pain dozens of times, even one of the 5 elders who had lived for 800 years could not resist a few times. You can see the horror of moonreading. After that, the old man slowly opened his eyes again, and there was a look of fear and shock in his eyes. However, his eyes were deeply collapsed and distracted from this resurrection, the whole person fell into the abyss. The 83rd time. The corner of the old man's mouth opened slightly, and the faint gossamer murmured. 83 times. Qin Luo was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect that he was only on a whim and killed the old man 83 times. Afterwards, Qin Luo couldn't help looking at the old man admiringly, and said with a smile, "You can die 83 times without breaking down under the moon reading. You are the first one and the first person in my experiment. You are very lucky. I can feel the suffering in the world." Qin Luo's envious face made the old man twitch. "Pervert, you just want to torture me like this. Tell you, even if this technique is a soul attack, I will get it back thousands of times." "As you wish." Facing the old man's curse, Qin Luo spoke calmly. Just as he performed this technique again to see how many times the old man could die before he collapsed, in the void of Pirate World, a door was strangely opened in the space behind Qin Luo, and then a hand was stretched out silently. Okay. Chapter 124. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Qin Luo frowned, and the surrounding air fluctuated extremely rhythmically, and the elder of one of 5 elders had been controlled by his monthly reading and had fallen into illusion. The marine below was burnt to the ground by sea kings, and it was impossible to take into account the situation above the void. So, Qin Luo no one can approach here at all. But the fluctuations behind him are strange and chaotic, which proves that someone must be approaching. And he is also a spatial ability person. Otherwise, he only noticed when he appeared in front of Qin Luo. Don't you think this matter is a bit bloody? As Qin Luo was pondering, the palm of the outstretched hand in the invisible space behind was instantly clenched, and it quickly slammed towards Qin Luo. Die. The fist arrives loudly. A punch penetrated Qin Luo's back heart. The man let out a sharp laugh. A pirate in a small guilty dare to oppose the government. It's really looking for death. The man behind Qin Luo succeeded and smiled conceited contemptuously. Just as he was about to punch Qin Luo again, suddenly, Qin Luo's body became physically. For a black crow, quack quack flew out indiscriminately. What? Seeing this scene, the expression of the man wearing the black mask was stagnant and a little surprised. Little devil, do you dare to attack? Qin Luo's voice came faintly and appeared directly behind the man. What is your ability? The masked man couldn't make a single blow, his expression was a bit gloomy, and his voice was low. Advertisement. At the same time, the old man in the moon reading space stiffened, and everything in front of him changed suddenly, and when the old man opened his eyes, he was still standing above the void. Why am I here? The old man got rid of the Yigzu technique, and suddenly exclaimed, and at the same time, he quickly looked around himself. No trace of injuries was found on his body. Illusory surgery. That sense of reality. It's terrible. The old man's heart was palpitating again and again, and his white robe was already wet with cold sweat behind his back. He suddenly remembered the scenes of death just now, his hair on his body was standing upside down, and his hair was horrified. When did you get the illusion? When? The old man lowered his head in thought, recalling the scene of the fight with Qin Luo just now. At that time, he looked at Qin Luo's eyes, and then, everything in front of him changed. And all of this is related to those strange eyes. Grown-ups. The old man was sober, and the masked man shouted directly. Don't look at his eyes. His eyes can manipulate human consciousness. It makes people hallucinate. The old man's mind turned sharply, even if he reminded the man with the mask. The man was taken aback for a while, seeing the expression on the adult's face, he understood the seriousness of the matter. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Yes, my lord. When reminded by the old man did not dare to be careless. Without the old ghost's warning, Qin Luo was confident that this kid could taste the horror of moon reading. Boy, what else can you do besides performing illusions? Although your illusions are powerful, it does not mean invincibility. As long as you don't look at your eyes, you can't hypnosis me at all. The illusion disappeared, and the old man regained his confidence just now. At the same time, he hated Qin Luo even more. My lord, what do you do now? The masked man opened the door of the space, which was very similar to the original CP9 Blueno. At this moment, the masked man can directly open the door of the void and enter it. He is a person with extremely strong spatial ability. Old ghost, when did your world government have this kind of talent? Qin Luo's eyes were slightly surprised. In the original One Piece, there is no mention of such a powerful person around 5 elders. Advertisement. Was it hidden by these 5 old men, and when the world was in crisis, he would sacrifice his killer. Kill the enemy by surprise. Qin Luo thought in his heart, 5 elders lived for 800 years. During these 800 years, it is impossible to wait for death all day. They must have some background or research, and these most profound things are not Qin Luo, clearly. 800 years of recruiting and creating a few powerhouses, isn't it simple to die? Deadpool, come on. The old man's eyes were cold and his expression was gloomy. He caught Qin Luo, but deliberately lowered his gaze under Qin Luo's neck, completely unable to see his eyes, so that he would not enter the illusion again. For the illusion, the old man really has a shadow, and he has a strong sense of rejection of the blood-red depressed world. Whoosh. In an instant, the old man shaved, as if the speed of light, rushed to Qin Luo, hung upside down and kicked. In a kick, Qin Luo's whole body once again turned into a black crow and spread out. It's fake again. The old man's pupils shrank. How could Qin Luo's ability be so strong? After playing for so long, neither of them touched Qin Luo's clothes corner. It's tricky. The old man failed with a single shot, and his entire face was filled with gloom. This guy's abilities were strange and unpredictable, and it was really unpredictable. Old ghost, are you in such a hurry? Is it because you are afraid that I will kill you? Qin Luo's voice rang from the other side, and Uchiha Itachi's Mangekyo Sharingan was very happy to be played by Qin Luo. If it were not for the ability to test the eyes, Qin Luo would have eliminated the marine below. Okay. The old man turned his head quickly and suddenly saw Qin Luo staring at him with a smile, his eyes full of confidence. Tempest kick. Boom. Advertisement. After a kick, Qin Luo's figure turned into a black crow again. 0. At the same time, Qin Luo's voice appeared on the other side. Before he stood firm, the old man continued to kill. Finger pistol. Quack quack quack. The reply to the old man was still a group of black crows. Damn it. Deadpool. The old man was very angry, his pupils were bloodshot, and he began to call the figure beside him. It's an adult. Deadpool nodded, and then a door of space opened, and Deadpool quickly entered, and then closed again, and then the entire sky was gone. Old ghost, do you want to fight one? Qin Luo looked faintly, and began to be vigilant around him. HMPH. Waiting to be caught. The old man's originally gloomy face suddenly grinned, as if trying to succeed, revealing his nature. Qin Luo frowned slightly. As he was about to meditate, the surrounding space suddenly trembled. Then, a door opened above the void, and the dead servant walked out with a sneer. Space prison. Deadpool screamed, and immediately the 4 beams of light came from 4 directions. Between the 4 beams of light, glass-like barriers suddenly appeared, immediately enveloping Qin Luo. Okay. Qin Luo's gaze shifted slightly, and he saw the old man looking at him with a grin. His smile seemed to be a tricky trick. Finally caught you. Qin Luo. You can't escape this time. Because this is a space prison. Even in front of powerful people in space, you can never escape. The old man's eyes were sharp and he laughed wildly. Chapter 125. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The bald old man laughed grinningly, showing that he hated Qin Luo to the extreme. Old ghost, do you believe that this space-breaking prison can shut me down? Qin Luo raised his head arrogantly, as if he hadn't been locked up. Boy, this space prison, even if it is me, I don't want to escape. Do you want to escape? There is nothing you can do except Deadpool unlocking. Obediently grab your hands and dig out your eyes. I can consider opening the net. Bless you to die. What a big tone. Qin Luo sneered, and Mangekyo Sharingan spun quickly. Kamui. Whoosh. The space in front of Qin Luo twisted strangely, and a black vortex formed above his right eye. Then, Qin Luo was sucked into the space, and there was no Qin Luo figure in the prison. Uchiha Obito's Mangekyo Sharingan's ability can be moved in space. What? He is also a spatial ability. The bald old man widened his eyes in amazement, his entire face was terrified to the extreme. Damn it, he can also move in space. Deadpool's eyes were dark, and he was surprised while wearing a mask. His spatial ability is unique. It is as strong as 5 elders and cannot escape. This is the rule of space, and no one can break it. But today, a kid escaped in front of them. Deadpool was extremely shocked. The bald old man, one of the 5 elders, was so ashamed. As soon as his voice fell, he escaped by this kid, slapped his face really fast. Woo! Suddenly, the space behind Deadpool was twisted, and then a whirlpool appeared, and Qin Luo quickly emerged from it. Be careful. The bald old man's eyes were sharp, warning Deadpool. Advertisement. But Deadpool looked dull, a coldness suddenly invaded behind him, and at the same time, Deadpool used his abilities frantically, and appeared in front of him at a space door. Amaterasu. Qin Luo doesn't talk nonsense at all. This dead waiter is plotting against him. If it weren't for Qin Luo to use Kamui, he would definitely be imprisoned by this kid today. To the enemy, Qin Luo has never been merciful. Boom. Under the horrified gaze of the bald old man, a strange black flame rose up from Deadpool's body. The temperature of the black flame rose sharply, and in an instant, he ignited an arm of Deadpool. What? Deadpool howled miserably, staring fiercely, and for a moment, a sharp blade appeared on his left hand, and his right arm was cut off quickly. Then, the whole person fled into the door of the space in embarrassment, and immediately closed. Ah! Qin Luo looked at the overlapping space door indifferently, and chuckled. Deterministic enough. If it's a little bit later, I'm afraid it won't be as simple as losing your arm. After speaking, Qin Luo looked up at the bald old man again. At this moment, the old man was already shocked by Qin Luo's methods. He retreated for the first time. At the same time, he noticed that those eyes were extremely scary. Some even want these scarlet eyes. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Crunch. At this moment, the door of space opened again, and a sound came out. Grown-ups. After drinking, the bald old man's figure was like electricity, ghostly heading towards the door of space. Boy, see you next time, you must die. The bald old man's eyes were sharp, and he began to threaten. Want to escape? Qin Luo pondered the taste for a moment. Kamui. Advertisement. In an instant, the bald old man twisted in front of him, and then a whirlpool completely sucked him in, and then the space slowly healed. Above the void, only Qin Luo remained. The door of space opened with another space-capable person. Damn it. Where did you catch your lord? Deadpool hid in the space, not daring to step out and search. He, dead. Qin Luo said calmly with a faint look. Dead. Huh. The adults won't die. You kid, wait. The other adults will definitely kill you. Shrimp soldiers and crabs dare to be rampant. Qin Luo's eyes were cold and arrogant, and his pupils flickered and disappeared. Within a few seconds, the space behind Deadpool fluctuates, a vortex emerges, and then Qin Luo steps out from within. Amaterasu. This time Qin Luo remembered the lesson from last time and directly surrounded the body of Deadpool. Ah, when did you come in? Deadpool's pupils widened and his face was extremely distorted. Aunt, you don't need to know. Qin Luo spoke indifferently, and went straight out regardless of Deadpool's miserable end. He believed that this Deadpool couldn't live. Huh, still fighting. Qin Luo lowered his head and found that above the sea, the original tens of hundreds of steel battleship regiments no longer exist. On the sea, there are only about 20 warships, and warships. The extent of the destruction is almost scrapped. Marines are fighting wildly with Sea Kings. Seeing this, Qin Luo stepped on the void. Get out. Qin Luo spoke loudly, his voice pierced through the heavens and the earth, resounding above the sea, while on the ground, Sea Kings, who was fighting with Marine's red eyes, suddenly stiffened and looked up at the sky. When they saw the dominating figure, they neighed, obediently dived into the water, and all disappeared. Advertisement. On the warship, Sengoku, Zephyr, Garp, Pelusolino, Sakazuki, Lieutenant General Crane, and Kuzan, all panting and pale. They have already made a lot of trouble when dealing with these sea beasts. Although these sea beasts are not terrible, they are easy to deal with by those with the ability, but you can't stand the human sea tactics at all. Kill one after another, kill one wave after another, endlessly emerging. Just like a master of martial arts, it is easy to beat an ordinary person. How about 10? How about 100? How about 1,000? Even if ordinary people can't kill the martial arts master, the human tactics alone are enough to exhaust the martial arts master. Those with fruit abilities also need to recover, they are not endless to consume. With an order, all the Sea Kings neighed together, as if they were reporting the results of the battle with Qin Luo, and then they were completely submerged in the water. In an instant, there was silence all around, only the sound of the burning fire and the waves. Qin Luo, your lord. Gang Gukong looked up, only to see him alone in the void. Did you say that old ghost? He has been killed by me. Qin Luo spoke indifferently. 0.3 kill. What's a joke? Can you kill 5 elders? You can't kill Thiryunjin, can you? Sakazuki sullenly turned back sarcastically. Believe it or not, you are dying anyway. Qin Luo curled his lips and didn't bother to talk to Sakazuki. Amaterasu. Qin Luo's gaze was like a torch, and the power of Mangekyo's blood wheel eyes was displayed instantly. In an instant, on the battleship where Gang Bone Kong was, the black flame instantly rose up, spreading towards the surroundings. Steel, your naval headquarters will be ruined here. Qin Luo looked like a master, looking at all this indifferently. Ding. The system is malfunctioning. Ding. The forced update is on, reminding the host that you will be unconscious in 3 seconds. 3.2.1.